The shortstop, number 2, Corvallis. Batting third, the right fielder, number 6, Jackson Reed. Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 40, Jackson Sorensen. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, number 46, Spencer Shipman. Batting sixth and catching, number 19, Jake Morse. Batting seventh, playing third base, number 37, Andrew Walters. Batting eighth, the left fielder, number 30, Shane Simpson. Batting ninth, playing second base, number 10, Spencer Norenko. Starting on the mound tonight for the Pippins, number 23, Daniel Sharon. The Pippins are managed by Kyle Crestangel and assisted by Johnny Graham. Athletic training services are provided by Orthopedics Northwest, the official athletic trainer provider of the Pippins. At this time, we ask you to all rise, and gentlemen, please remove your caps as Mo Severance performs the Star Spangled Banner.
See by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, folks, welcome in to gorgeous Yakima, Washington, Yakima County Stadium and the Orchard. It's game one of playoff baseball here for the Pippins against the Corvallis Knights, and I don't think anybody thought the Pippins were going to be here come the start of the second half of the season. The Pippins sat 9-18 at the end of the first half, and then after a fight, a little bit of spark, and the Pippins went on their huge second half run. They finished winning their last 4 games of the regular season, 20-7 their overall second half record, and a 29-25 overall record just squeaked them into that postseason spot where they will take on the Knights today. Zach McKinstry joined by Gary Erdely, the Walla Walla Sweets broadcaster. Gary, good to have you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Some playoff baseball. We weren't getting that in Walla Walla, but we get it here in Yakima. Should be a fun one.
Yeah, you get the best of both worlds. Season wraps
Absolutely.
up, and you still get to call some baseball. So Gary with us as color today, and what a wild end of the season. Of course, that Bend and Cowlitz games, if you didn't hear, the Bend Elks needed to lose that game for the Pippins to get in to this wild card spot, and Bend was up 7-1 in that game. Cowlitz scoring 6 unanswered to tie it, another to take an 8-7 lead, and then a couple base running mistakes ended the season for the Bend Elks. A wild end to their season, but what a way to get into the playoffs.
I mean, for Yakima, it's a absolutely fun time to be alive if you're a Pippins fan. You go into the contest, you know you both are playing 2 of the night games. 5:05, you know their game's going to wrap up before yours does, so you get to know, hey, let's take care of business. 7th, 8th, 9th, let's do our job, and that's what the Pippins did to get in. Now they find themselves with borderline, you could say, a tougher task in Corvallis here tonight.
Oh, a real tough Corvallis team that finished 21-7 in the second half of the season, winning both halves of the South Division and 39-15 overall in their 54 games, and it will be Daniel Sharon that has the task of taking on this hot Corvallis lineup, which starts with a left-handed hitter, Logan Johnstone. Right fielder for the Knights digs into the batter's box and sees the first pitch from Sharon. Off the plate, ball 1, and we are underway. Banner Bank starting lineups first for the visiting Corvallis Knights. Logan Johnstone to lead things off. Victor Quinn bats second, the third baseman. Riley Knight, the left fielder, to bat third. Kiko Romero cleans up. This one put into play towards first, and the pitcher covering records the first out of the ball game. Following Romero, it's Ryan Stafford, the DH. Tanner Smith, the catcher, to bat sixth. Mason Lee, the second baseman, bats seventh. Spencer Scott will bat eighth. And Jonah Advincula, the center fielder, to bat ninth for Corvallis. Now, with Walla Walla, you got a chance to see this Corvallis team. And what did you see from this lineup up through down?
The one thing that's very different, and especially you look at things for Yakima, this is a good thing and a bad thing for the Pippins. They're very different from the first half of the season, from the second half of the season. The thing that makes those two similar, they're really good. Everyone all around can hit, do a whole lot of damage, and a lot of them have experience a whole lot collegiately, and a good amount of them also in the league.
Yeah, and that's partially a good thing for the Pippins, who saw them through the first couple of series of the year, seeing Corvallis twice in the first 3 series, and it did not go well for the Pippins. They lost all 6 of those matchups against Corvallis. In the first 3 games of the year, they were shut out twice against this Corvallis staff, and they will face another strong Knights arm today in Cam Day when he comes to the mound in the bottom of the first inning. Sharon misses the zone there. The count even at a ball and a strike.
We'll talk about Cam Day when he takes him out in the bottom of the first, but again, another guy who can go, just starting to get going with Corvallis, and he's been used up and up and up in amount of innings in his past couple of outings, going 5 most recently at Borleski. He's a guy that you could see go chase 6, 7 if he really needs to.
And a guy that the Pippins will try and continue their hot streak at the plate against. The Pippins have actually, in their last 6 games, they have come back from 5 different leads to win ball games, as this one just misses. And the count goes to 3-1. Most prominently, the 5-0. They trailed Kelowna on the road, came back, tied it at 5. They then trailed 10-5, came back and took the lead with an 8-run 7th inning, which featured a 6 RBI day from Jackson Reed. And in another must-win game, the Pippins got it done. Just needed, heads up, bat is flying into the foul netting above the Pippins dugout, and it's fouled back, so the count full.
See, a shot like that, you can forget about if you get hit here, you get on base in any way possible, but if that was, we've seen it in Walla Walla a couple times, a guy strikes out, losing the bat, it's not necessarily a pretty sight to see.
My favorite thing to talk about when something like that happens is the pine tar. It instantly comes out of the dugout like it's the bat, slippery, yeah. Sometimes it's
blame it on the bat.
Yeah. Bat takes a lot of the blame there, and every single time you see a bat go flying, you see the dugout run out with the pine tar, and the batter makes sure it's all scrubbed down. 3-2 flown out to right field. Jackson Reed on the move and makes the catch, running into the wall. There's out number 2.
And Zach, we talked a little bit about it a moment ago with how these two teams have changed mightily in the course of this season. The first and the second half for Yakima being night and day. It's a good thing because now they're hot, but also you go back and say, well, you dropped all 6. Sure, they were in the first month of the season, really. You go into today, you could take it 2 different ways. You could say, okay, well, a lot of guys are still here from that point. They know how Corvallis works. And other guys say, it doesn't really matter. We're the hottest team in the West Coast League. You can argue that Yakima definitely is.
Yeah, both of these teams have been red hot. A lot of the South Division has. When you look at the competitiveness in each division, there are 3 20-win teams in the second half of the South Division with Portland, the Pippins, and Corvallis. And all of those teams were giving everybody a run for their money in that South Division out of the gate, as this one's weakly fouled away. And a really competitive South Division compared to a North Division that kind of fell off a little bit in the second half.
The North Division got very interesting in a way, but you look at a lot of teams, like you go and look at the second half for Yakima, if they were playing in the North, probably would have won the second half. So it kind of makes things very interesting for the Pippins, who played a very North-heavy schedule the later half of the year, and first time seeing action versus South Division team in a little bit of time.
This one grounded to second, and a 1-2-3 inning opens up the start for Daniel Sharon. He holds Corvallis scoreless in inning number 1, and the Pippins will come to the plate and face off against Cam Day. When we return, you're watching Pippins Baseball.
The time is now to get started on your new career at Perry Tech. From AAS degrees in business technology and accounting and IT and communication systems to a fast 5-week professional truck driving program, acquire hands-on skills to help you reach your full potential. From financial aid to career services, the staff at Perry Tech are there to help you from start to finish. Take action today by calling Perry Tech 509-453-0374 or visit perrytech.edu.
It's sky blue, barn red. Caught up in a country, the only way I wanna be. Somewhere where the road ends, out there where the creek bends, that's where you can find me. Within fields of gold and cotton rows that never end in the sky. Take it slow, easy road, man, that's life. Caught up in a country.
Welcome back in Pippins Baseball here at the Orchard, Yakima County Stadium in Yakima, Washington. It's Zach McKinstry, Gary Erdely, as we get set for the bottom of inning number 1 in this West Coast League Divisional Series between your Yakima Valley Pippins and the Corvallis Knights. Luke Rollator leads things off, and he will face off against one of the top starters for this Corvallis team, Cam Day, the right-hander out of the University of Utah.
And Day, we talked a little bit about, he's not been utilized a ton this season, but near the later half of the year, a whole lot. Mainly in starting roles, 5 games played, I believe, only 3 starts, but those 3 starts are great. 2-0 record, his most recent one going 5 versus Walla Walla. Each outing sees him go higher and higher innings pitched, so if they need him to go deep, he can save you a lot of arms going the rest of the playoffs, the rest of the series, and a guy who simply will give you a quality start, whether he goes 3 or goes 9, doesn't really matter.
And those long starts are super important, especially once we get into postseason play. You see more and more teams dwindle down their rosters with guys going back to school on pitch caps. And if you can get a good start and save some relievers for later in a 3-game series like this one, it can be huge for the outcome of that series.
Especially when you look at how many guys have gone in quick order. Not many guys this season have been forced to go 2, even if they're in relief, 2 games in the same week. That doesn't happen. There's been really big rosters, especially for Corvallis. Comes in with a little bit of a bigger one compared to the rest of the West Coast League this year. They can afford to go with a reliever at times and throw a good amount of arms at a game, but they don't really have to because of how quality their starters are.
3-1 fouled back, so the count will go full on the leadoff man. Let's take a look at the Pippins starting 9. It's Luke Rollator to lead things off, the center fielder who's batting just under that 300 mark this season. Connor Corvallis, who has been one of the best offensive players in the South Division in this second half. He's in the on-deck circle. Jackson Reed will bat third. Jackson Sorensen, the cleanup man in this afternoon's ball game. Spencer Shipman to bat 5th. Jake Borst, the catcher, bats 6th. Then Andrew Walters, Shane Simpson, and Spencer Marinko round out the order for this Pippin squad. Payoff home, and Rollator pulls it to right field, drops it in for a leadoff single. Luke Rollator does it again, leads things off, and the Pippins will have the first base runner of Game 1 of this divisional series.
It's a great way to start off the ball game. Firstly, defensively, you do the job, get things go down 1, 2, 3. First at bat, you fight off a little bit, fight off a couple pitches, and just get one to drop in the right. That's what you need. You need to get on to start off a ball game, keep things hot, like we mentioned. And even if this inning doesn't lead to anything miraculous, that's a good way to set the tone.
.276 the batting average for Rollator this summer in 35 games played. He's also got 21 stolen bases, which is up there among the league leaders, 6th in the West Coast League, as Corvallis takes a strike. On top of that, had 5 stolen bases in 1 game this season, which is the league highest this season among any stolen base leaders. And he had a set of 10 stolen bases in 3 games this summer. A guy that likes to run.
And as you get on in the season, a guy like that who could play a little bit of small ball for you, work quickly on the base pads, later and later you see more small ball elements be incorporated. A lot of guys will try and bunt. You see more sacrifice plays at this part of the year. So a guy like that, a lead off, get on base, it's a great way to start.
Luke Rollator takes his lead. Corvallis behind in the count 0-2, and Cam Day to the plate. Ground ball is foul. So for Cam Day, out of the University of Utah, a freshman from Layton, Utah. Earned the Sunday spot in the Utes rotation this year in his freshman season. 62.1 innings of work at the D1 level against Pac-12 opponents. That's really impressive, especially as a freshman.
And we see a lot of Pac-12 players join this league with a whole lot of talent.
As this one's poked up the middle, Corvallis with a nice little hit. That finds the center of the field, just deflecting off the top of Day's glove. Go ahead, Gary.
A lot of guys with a whole lot of talent, especially pitchers. We've seen guys come out, mainly Oregon State guys, a ton of them with Corvallis, obviously. A couple guys out of the University of Utah. But you see Day come in late in the year and just ability to work in high-pressure spots as a starter. Those are not easy games to get after. Walla Walla was a tough series, had a couple of other ones, I believe, against Cowlitz as well. These are tough teams that were fighting for a playoff spot. He came in and shut things down.
He's had a solid season, a 0.48 ERA in his 5 appearances this year, and every time he has pitched, his team has won. 5 wins, 2 of those accredited to Cam Day. But he'll see a little bit of trouble here out of the gate. He's only allowed 1 earned run this year and hasn't been in too much trouble. Did allow 6 hits to Edmonton in his July 14th start, but 2 hits out of the gate for the Pippins, back-to-back, and 2 runners aboard, nobody out for the dangerous Jackson Reed as he swings through the 1-0 and evens the count. So for Jackson Reed at the plate, he's a guy that has been stellar all summer long for the Pippins. We've talked about it on the broadcast this season, especially if you were listening to that Kelowna trip. But Reed, a guy that you love to have on your team, hate to have if he's on the different team. Just an absolute pest at the plate. .357 his batting average, and he succeeds in every facet of the game.
And when you have a guy like that, can back it up with the numbers, but also just able to get everyone hot. When you have a guy like that who's going to be consistent all year long, put him in spots where he does get 2 runners on, gets guys on base. That's what he's got here. You'll love to see that.
5th in the league in batting average with his .357 rate, and he leads the Pippins with 30 RBIs. Takes a ball, and he's got a hitter's count. 3-1 now. Still nobody out in the bottom of the first. And Reed also coming off that 6 RBI game in Kelowna. Had a solo home run to start that 7th inning. The big 7th, the Pippins came back from down 10-5, and he closed out that 7th inning with a bases-clearing double and finished 4 for 5 on the day. Grounds this one into his shin and foul. The count full 3-2.
Still got to be careful here of your day. We've seen already, first at bat of the ball game was gotten to a full count spot. You got a base hit out of it. Going up against one of the better hitters on the squad, and you've already been a little shaken up. Nobody down, 2 on, top of the first, playoff atmosphere. All those things kind of come into effect, even if it is summer ball. All those things, real-life reps, especially with Corvallis.
And you can see Jackson Reed certainly trying to walk off that foul ball. Slowly limping back into the batter's box. You'll see a 3-2. Pickoff keeps an eye on the runner. Still limping as he comes out of the box, and that's not the first time we've seen that from Reed this summer. Just over a week ago, Jackson Reed fouled one off his shin, posted a video on his Snapchat after the game, and it looked like a softball on his shin. And obviously not a pleasant feeling when you got a guy throwing 90-plus and a heavy swing at the plate goes right into the leg. So we'll try and bounce back on this. 3-2, here it comes. Off the end of the bat, a fly out towards left. It goes a long way, a lot of backspin, and Rollator's going to try and tag up to third, and he's in safely. Fly out is productive, out number 1, and Rollator up to third.
And that's more what we talked about with that type of speed on the base pad, smart heads-up base running in the leadoff spot. Right there, you get one to go, same size of base runner. He's going towards third, getting him to tag up like that, short carried a good amount of distance. That's a tough play to make as a base runner. Now you got runners on the corners, only one away. That small ball can come back into effect.
Oh, yeah, and the Pippins have loved that small ball this season as Kyle Crustangel gives his signs. So many times this year, more than double digits, the Pippins have had first and third situations and gone with the intentional run down, giving up the out to score the run, and it's been successful more times than not as Jackson Sorensen steps in, and the lefty will see the first pitch and take it low and in for a ball. Sorensen, with some history with the man on the mound, was telling me before the game, so Cam Day from northern Utah and Jackson Sorensen from southern Idaho played on a couple of similar travel ball teams and played at perfect game tournaments. And Sorensen got to know him well. And in the dugout, he was like, yeah, this guy can pitch, man. And early in the game, a big spot for him. Grounds this one out to the right side, and it will find the hole and get through. Up to third base, Corvallis. Throw will come into third, and it moves Sorensen up to second. It's an RBI single for the Gonzaga corner infielder. And the Pippins on the board first here in playoff game number 1.
This is exactly what you need if you're Yakima. Going up against a pitcher who's shown shutdown stuff all year long in a short amount of games played with Corvallis, but he's came in, you're going up against one of the best pitchers that the Knights have. A guy who will go long in ball games without giving up hits, giving up runs, yet a guy on third, get runners on the corners. No, you got to sneak one through. Didn't even need to take a little bit of that small ball. You don't even take away an out. You got one out, now 2 in scoring position. Great start for the Pippins.
93 and rolled over a little bit on it. That pitch at 95 miles an hour to Spencer Shipman, who steps in. And Sorensen does the job. Also important to note, Logan Johnstone in right field. That throw to third base allows Sorensen to move up and allows a chance for another run to score if Shipman can produce. But he's quickly behind 0-2.
I like how Day's starting this at bat. He's firstly throwing a lot harder than we've seen. Typically in 93 is where he's peaking, 93, 94. Now consistently, pitch after pitch, 94, 95. Blowing stuff by. Now head 0-2 for the first time we've really seen all day.
Big pitch there, and he goes with a high fastball again, 95 again, and it's fouled off. First time we've seen him get that high right after the RBI single against Jackson Sorensen. Perhaps the frustration part of a factor in that. And he's still ahead on Shipman. 0-2 the count, long look, and out of the windup, here's the pitch. Ground ball to the right side again. It will do a job, and a tough play deep in shallow right. The throw just beats Shipman. Johnny Graham disagrees. But Shipman returns to the dugout as out number 2, having scored a run, and it's a 2-0 Pippins lead out of the gate here in the first.
Very well frustrated about that one. It was a close play, a nice play at second. If it were to truly beat it, it was close. But look at the positives. You score a run out of it. Now you have a runner at third, 90 feet away. Great chance to add some more runs. Still have 2 outs, and Day clearly not in the right headspace. On 0-2, get one to slip through. Dealing some hittable pitches early on, and if you're the Pippins, as hot as they've been offensively, just got to keep digging after it.
1-0 the count. This one a ground ball up the middle, but there is Mason Lee, the second baseman. He'll flip on to first base, and it's out number 3, but the Pippins start the scoring here in the West Coast League South Divisional round. It's Jackson Sorensen with the RBI single through the right side, and Spencer Shipman does a job with his RBI ground out. 2-0 the score as we head to inning number 2.
Who knew it was so difficult to find the right bank?
I know. It's so confusing.
It
like checking out your banking options? Oh, sounds overwhelming.
The cloud of uncertainty.
Enough! With Banner Bank, it's easy to manage your finances, and help is here when you need it.
Be gone, Cloud!
Oh, wait. Ah!
Built for action, built for banking. Banner Bank.
If we win the lottery, we'd remodel our home.
We'd start with the kitchen.
Ooh. And out back is where the big trucks will go.
Wow! Ben, you don't even live here anymore?
Hey, don't forget about Grandma.
Okay, family meeting. Come on.
Welcome to the Ice Dome.
All right, folks, welcome back in. Inning number 2 is set to get underway. The Pippins start the scoring, and inning number 1, 2-0, is the Pippins' advantage as Daniel Sharon returns back to the mound, and the righty will face the 4, 5, 6 in the order, starting with Kiko Romero. Great breaking ball on the first pitch. Romero out in front, and it's 0-1. Let's take a look at the Pippins' defensive alignments today. Shane Simpson in left field, Luke Rollator in center, and Jackson Reed in right. Pretty similar outfield to what we've seen the last couple of series. Andrew Walters, the third baseman. Connor Corvallis, the West Coast Conference Defensive Player of the Year, is at short. Spencer Marinko at second, Jackson Sorensen at first, and Jake Borst behind the plate. And how about that changeup? Way out in front, and it's 0-2.
Really enjoying this start to the AB. Throw some off speed, throw some breaking stuff to start off, and now as a batter, you're kind of lost for words.
Comes back with a fastball, but looks a lot harder coming out of the hand of Sharon when you're coming off a 73-mile-an-hour changeup.
Well, that's the point. Just keep trying to get the batter off their feet a little bit.
Yeah, mixing up the speeds can really mess up that timing. As a breaking ball is in the dirt, the count even at 2-2. And the different philosophies from the two pitchers in today's start is crazy. You got Daniel Sharon, who doesn't have the highest velo, but he's got great breaking stuff, good command of that changeup and that secondary and tertiary pitches. And then on the other side, you got Cam Day, who can pump it up there and will outclass you with his fastball. 2-2's in the dirt, and it's full.
And the thing I like from the first inning from Yakima, didn't have to go a whole lot with the breaking. Didn't have to throw that changeup. Looked like the first time we've seen it today, and we're able to get 3 quick outs in the top half of the first. Now playing with a little bit of lead. Hey, let's see if he can get some swings and misses, get some big shots. Have to capitalize on this at bat. He started 0-2, and now it's full.
Used all his waste pitches and will now have to come over to the plate to the dangerous Kiko Romero. First baseman just finished his season as a national champ at Central Arizona. And he wears this one, which runs too far in. It's a hit by pitch to put the leadoff man aboard.
And that's the biggest thing for the Pippins. If you're going to take this one, and we talked countlessly about the accolades for Corvallis as a team, Manager Brooke Knight, everything a part of that organization is first class. You can't give them chances for free. You can't give up walks, can't give up hit by pitches. It's really in a spot where you're going to dig yourself into a hole. And one's not going to kill you, but an at-bat like that can't continue. You go up 0-2, have to put things away while you're sitting in front.
Free passes and defensive mistakes were the key to success for Corvallis in the first series of the year against the Pippins back at the Orchard, way back at the start of June. 7-0 was game 1, 8-1 was game 2, and 8-0 was game 3. The Pippins out-hit Corvallis in a couple of those outings, but the defensive mistakes, a lot of errors out of the gate for a team that currently sits second in the entirety of the West Coast League in errors, gives up a lot of those runs, and can allow teams to come back into a game. So Daniel Sharon trying to lock back in, runner aboard, 0-1 the count, and it's Ryan Stafford. Fouled away.
And go back and talk about that first series. We're probably going to talk about it a lot, obviously today and tomorrow for you when you go to Corvallis. This is a very different ball club for Yakima and pretty similar for Corvallis. Obviously, you do growing and get better as the season goes on, but the Pippins have changed. Defensively, a lot better than they were in those first couple of sets, and offensively, red hot. We've discussed that quite a bit. This is a tough matchup for anybody going into Corvallis, but you could argue the Pippins are probably the best team to give them a run for their money. They've been probably the hottest team in the South Division. Portland's had their struggles. The same thing with Ridgefield. Those two teams are going to battle it out in Portland themselves, but this one should be a fun series all in all just because of how far these two have came. We've seen the Portland-Ridgefield matchup quite a bit. This one, saw at the beginning of the year, Pippins are a completely different team at this point.
And it's not out of the box to say that the winner of this series probably has the best chance of winning the league.
Absolutely.
Pop up right side, tailing towards the seats, and it will get out of play.
And we talked about the North Division on how that's worked. You kind of saw in the second half. That's part of the reason the Pippins are here. Had to go up against a lot of North Division opponents, and it's led to good wins. It can't really be mad at the schedule, the deck of cards you were given, but the Pippins took them for a lot of positives and got into the playoffs because of it. Now they have a chance to take down the top team in the league. At that point, you put yourself as one of the favorites, if not the favorite.
0-2, ground ball towards third. Walters snags it, but it's just foul. Might have been a break for the Pippins. Walters had it deep in that third base hole, and Romero already to second, so no chance at two. Would have been a strong throw to have to get Ryan Stafford, the Cal Poly Mustang, at the plate. And we haven't even mentioned the fact that there's a revenge factor in this game as well. Of course, last year, the West Coast League Championship Series was these two teams. Corvallis has won the West Coast League Championship 5 years in a row, and the Pippins came the closest to knocking them off last year, winning Game 1 of the series, and then had their chances in Game 2, had the tying run on twice late in the ball game, couldn't score them, and they ended up losing Game 2 and Game 3. This one is shot out to left field and drops in as the first Corvallis hit. And the Knights respond with two quick base runners, nobody out here in the top of inning number 2.
Solid at bat there for Corvallis. Fight off pitches, obviously a lot throws over, but you get the hit out of it. Now you have 2 on. Go back to your point of the revenge factor. It doesn't feel very much like a revenge game. These two teams playing in the same division this year, so it was fun to see them to open the year together. That's always fun to see, but this one, very different on the field because you know this isn't it. The winner's going to go somewhere else, go past that. And we mentioned whoever wins this series, probably the favorite at this point based on how the second half of the year has gone. But it feels again like who can stop Corvallis, which is a negative for the league in a way. You get frustrated. It's like, oh, David versus Goliath. You never want to be David. But the Pippins in a spot where they said, hey, last year, this team's not crazy different, new faces and all that, but let's go out, keep the fight going, and make up for the first half of the year.
Bunt shown, and the pitch misses from Sharon. It's a 2-0 start to Tanner Smith, the catcher out of the University of Oregon. And it is different in summer ball when you have so much turnover on the roster year to year. The Pippins have 3 returners from last year in Spencer Marinko, Tyler Frieders, and Connor Corvallis still with the team. And then, of course, head coach Kyle Crustangel, who came so close to knocking off Brook Knight and Corvallis in last year's effort, his first year with the Pippins. 2-0. No bunt this time, but it's fouled away to the right side. Make it 2-1. As Sharon has a little bit of trouble to work out of in the second.
And that kind of, you could say, veteran presence with guys returning. That's a big deal in this type of spot. Having someone that knows these spots is really, you see the teams with more guys returning tend to be in these spots later in seasons.
Daniel Sharon out of the stretch, a long look, and the 2-1 bunt is shown. It's popped up, it's down. Only play is to first, and Sharon makes the throw. But successful bunt, 2 in scoring position, 1 out, and the scoring opportunity goes to Mason Lee.
And Corvallis is a team that really can do it all. We've seen good pitching, defense, everything there. They're a very well-disciplined team. You see it right there with a nice bunt play down. But keeping up with Yakima offensively, that's going to be fun to see. Who can keep going? Who can keep battling in a game that looking to be a little bit of a high-scoring affair?
Yeah, the first 6 games between these two teams are really a lot of pitcher duels, with Corvallis ended up running away late in those games because of errors and free passes. But not a lot of hits in those games. It wasn't a shootout by any means. But here today with the Pippins jumping on the board early and the way these two offenses have played at the latter stage of the season, of course, Corvallis winning 15 games in a row during a stretch. Not to mention they had a stretch of 27 straight games played. With their start to the season, some rain makeups, playing 27 days in a row is pretty nuts.
And the most impressive thing about that 15-game win streak, look at the teams they played. Played 4 games versus Portland, end of the year, 3 games home and home versus Ridgefield. Went to Walla Walla where in 100 and some odd degree heat, not fun to do. Like, they were good quality wins, and even a good amount of them being settled between 1-2 runs. They were close contests, and they took care of it.
Here's a good off-speed, swung on and missed, and 0-2 the count to Mason Lee out of Culver City, California, and the Sea-Sun. Mason Lee batting .270 this summer in 44 games played with Corvallis. Behind in the count, 0-2. Big pitch for Daniel Sharon. Pop-up in shallow left center field. Corvallis out, Rollator in. He'll make the play, no tag. And that's a big out number 2.
And that starts with going ahead in the count. That's so important, and cliche as it may be, you work better when you're ahead in the count. And whether you get the pop out, whatever the result ends up being, you know you're going to go out with a quality AB as a pitcher. That one perfectly done. Even if you don't get the strikeout, who cares? You get the pop out, you don't allow a run to score. That's exactly what you're looking for.
And Sharon 1 pitch away from getting out of this second inning as he'll face the shortstop Spencer Scott out of Portland, Oregon, and the University of Portland with the Pilots. A lot of pilots between these two rosters. Gabe Villaflor, a late addition, a catcher at Portland. Spencer Shipman with the Pippins started his collegiate career at Portland before transferring to YVC to play under Pippins head coach Kyle Crustangel. And Sharon brings the first pitch home. Fastball down the middle, taken for a strike. 88 from Sharon.
We talked about the conflicting styles on the mound. It's a good fastball. Whether it's hitting in the high, mid-90s, you can position it. If you can get it placed with a good amount of spin underneath it, you're going to look pretty good, and that's a good pitch to start off.
Daniel Sharon, 11 starts this year at Spokane Falls in the NWAC. Finished with a 5-3 record as a hard-hit ground ball is to Andrew Walters. Throw across the diamond. In time, out number 3. So we'll have to finish that story up a little bit later. Daniel Sharon gets out of trouble. Still scoreless is Corvallis. 2-0 the score. Pippins to the plate.
Be an energy efficiency hero. Install high-efficiency natural gas equipment, and you can be just like Cascade's most energy-efficient player of the game. Match his ERA of $710. Put some runs on the board by upgrading your furnace, improving your home's insulation, and switching to a condensing tankless water heater. Cascade's bench is deep with both residential and commercial incentives. Check them out at our website or give us a call and be an energy efficiency player of the game.
What's worse than standing in line at concessions? Now you can satisfy your appetite while remaining in your seat. With the mobile app FanFood, you simply select Express Pickup and order your food. It is that simple. You deserve a VIP experience. Download FanFood today.
All right, Pippins back to the plate. Bottom of inning number 2. It starts with Andrew Walters, who takes a fastball up and in. Pippins sent 6 batters to the plate in the bottom of inning number 1. They plated a pair of runs, and now it's the 7-8-9 to get things going in inning number 2. Andrew Walters starts things out with a hot shot into the gap. He'll round first but throw on the brakes, and will be content with a leadoff single to open up the second frame.
I love how the Pippins are starting these at-bats. If it's near the zone, be aggressive. Aggressive ABs. Obviously, you're not going to take one that's going right up to your face, but right after that, you know he's probably going to throw you something hittable. Go after it. Does there, works to success, and they've been aggressive, but really quality ABs to start. They haven't gone deep in pitch counts, and they got a lot of hits because of it.
That is their 4th hit already today, as this one misses off the plate to Shane Simpson, the left-handed hitting left fielder who takes over.
And the thing we mentioned that was one of the brighter spots about Cam Day, he's a guy that can go. We haven't seen him go less than 3 this year, I believe. Typically going over that 4, 5 most recently. Wouldn't be shocked to see him go chase that 6-7 inning mark. Today, by how things have started, that's not looking to be the case. And if you could force that, if you could force him out of the ball game easy, that's exactly what you're looking for in a series like this.
1-1 is just tipped at the plate, so it's to 1-2. Cam Day, the most hits he has allowed in an outing this year is 6 against Edmonton, going 4.2 innings, allowing 4 runs, but none of which were earned. The Pippins already have 4 hits and 2 earned runs today. The most earned runs against Cam Day this season, and more earned runs than all of his 5 outings combined. They got him on the pickoff. Andrew Walters caught sleeping, and that is a big out number 1 for Cam Day in this Corvallis lineup.
And you look at that, it puts the first out on the board, but then you just return your attention to the plate. It's a 1-2 count. You know you're going to be dealt something here, and if you're Shane Simpson, in a weird spot.
Swings, and he shoots this one out to left field, and it will be caught on the run for out number 2. But again, that is a huge first out and a mistake from Andrew Walters. Again, an incoming freshman at UCLA, just recent high school graduate. And a mistake that you would see throughout the summer from a high school senior. But for Walters, he's had a much better second half of the season. He has done better. His single 98 off the bat to reach base, but can't make those mistakes when it comes to playoffs against a team like Corvallis.
Corvallis is a team you kind of have to play perfect baseball against. It doesn't. Record speaks for itself. They don't lose many ball games. A reason they were the first and second half champions in the South Division, and have had stretches of games where they go 10 wins at a time, 15 wins at a time. We've seen that twice this year for Corvallis. They're not easy to put down, and you have to play perfectly to do it.
Pippins had more losses in the first half of the season than Corvallis had all season long. 15 for Corvallis, 39-15 their overall record. And the Pippins were 9-18 at the midway point of the summer. 2-1 is the count to Spencer Marinko, today's second baseman for Yakima Valley. Nobody on and 2 outs, and he shoots it down the line. It will stay fair and skip into the corner, and squeaking through the gated fence out there. It is a ground rule double. And again, that pickoff at Andrew Walters at first base becomes that much bigger.
You go back to the pickoff, not only does that put 1 out on the board and take a runner off the base paths, go to the very next pitch forces you know you're going to get something hittable, you have to go after it, and he gets a pop out of that. 2 quick outs in a matter of 1 pitch. You don't get picked off there. Maybe it's a ball throw, maybe it's something outside. It changes the pitch, and you could be looking at not only 1 run scoring off that, possibly even 2.
On the flip side of that coin, the Pippins have seen all 9 batters come to the plate and 5 hits the first time through the order. There's a strike to Luke Rollator as he starts the second time through after his single, which led off the bottom of the first.
We're going to have to see Day start trying to switch up different pitches. Saw a little bit of movement on that, a little off speed, but we're seeing a lot of fastballs. That's the type of guy he is. He can blow stuff by, but the Pippins all over it.
Check swing. Did he go? He did not. And the count to a ball and a strike on Luke Rollator. Already up to 37 pitches is Cam Day with 2 outs in this second inning. And we talked about pitchers, if they can go deep into the game and save relievers, especially in a 3-game set, it's huge. But also, on the other side of that, if you have a pitcher that's a starter and chased early, you might be scrambling come games 2 or 3 in the series.
If you're Corvallis in a spot like this, you look to the future and say, we need Day to at least give us 4, because you know you're playing a game tomorrow. Bottom line, you know you're playing a game tomorrow. You lose this one, you're probably playing one the next day as well at Goss Stadium. So as little amount of damage he can get out. If he gets out here and no damage done, you're in a good spot.
Just misses on the 2-1, though, and it's 3 balls and a strike to Luke Rollator. And if anyone can survive that, it is Corvallis with the amount they still have on their roster. Just watching them come into the ballpark today, you look at the Pippins warm up, and there's about 16 or 17 guys maybe on the entire roster right now. And then you see a full team coming in from Corvallis that's got upwards of 23, 24. This one shot up the middle on the shifted shortstop. Good play. Here's a throw. Pick gets away. Here comes Marenko, and he scores. Luke Rollator puts it in play, and the Pippins add a run, make it 3-0.
Started out a nice defensive stop, but the throw forces a run to come in. And in a spot like that, kind of expect at least limit the damage, and it's tough. You're trying to get out in a big spot. You have runners on, 2 outs. You have a chance to get out. You take it. Kind of worst case scenario, especially for now, Day. Another run comes aboard.
I would expect that to be a single and an error on the throw to score the run, so it won't go as an RBI to Luke Rollator. As a pickoff keeps an eye on him. Cam Day issues another run across and make that another hit for this Pippins lineup. They have 6 hits against Cam Day here in inning number 2.
To say the very least, not what we would have expected. Based on Day's time at Utah and his start in the West Coast League, he's been dominant. And today, Pippin's just all on top of it.
Now it's Connor Corvallis at the plate as he takes a fastball outside. 1-0 starts his at bat. And Corvallis, not the guy you really want to face right now. He is one of the hottest hitters in the league. Finished with 8 hits in the last series against Kelowna. 4 in Game 1, 3 in Game 2, and another in the finale in which the Pippins clinched that spot. 2-0.
Go look up and down this Pippins roster. Guys simply, you mentioned it before when we were off air, kind of playing with a chip on their shoulder. Came in, you know what they did in the first half, then the second half, kind of dominating things in a spot where they could have won a second half championship if not for Corvallis doing what Corvallis did. That makes everybody play better. You're playing with momentum. You're playing with fun. That's what a bulk of it is. You're playing happy. You're playing baseball the way it was meant to be played. You're not looking down, and come in and bring that in. All smiles, and helps when you're up as well.
There's a strike on the fastball. Make it 2-1 to Corvallis. Luke Rollator has been trying to time things up over at first base. Leads the team with his 21 stolen bags. He has got 6 on the season, or is 21 on the season, 6th in the league. And a breaking ball cuts outside, make it 3-1 to Corvallis. That pitch count continues to climb from Cam Day. And Corvallis, a guy that is a tough out at the plate. One of the lowest strikeout to walk ratios in the league. Takes a strike there, and it's full, 3-2. So Rollator will be on the move. And now anything in the gap could score the speedster on first.
You're in a spot here if you're Day. Kind of have to get out with this next pitch. Can't keep letting things go up. We talked about the pitch count quite a bit, but also hits being earned, runs.
Ground ball out towards second. Rollator safe at second, but the play comes to first. And the ground out retires Corvallis and ends inning number 2. But the Pippins add another on 3 hits. An Andrew Walters single, a Spencer Marenko double. And then Luke Rollator drives home the run on the throwing mistake from Spencer Scott. Inning number 3 is coming up, and the Pippins are out in front, 3-0 the score in Yakima.
Solutions Northwest is excited to be the official office supplier of the Yakima Valley Pippins. Proudly serving the Yakima Valley since 1967, we offer a wide variety of solutions at work, from pens and copy paper, desks and chairs, to soap and paper towels, along with free next-day delivery on most orders. We strive to be your local source for all of your office needs. Create a free account today by visiting our website at www.whobest.com, and we look forward to working with you.
Corvallis comes back to the plate here in the top of inning number 3. They have not found any success against Daniel Sharon to this point. A hit by pitch and a single started the second, but a sac bunt, a fly out, and a ground out kept them scoreless. And it's a 3-0 Pippins lead out of the gate in the opening game of this best-of-3 series. Breaking balls off the plate to the 9-hole hitter Jonah Advincula, the center fielder out of the University of Redlands. Santa Clara, California Junior sees a 1-0. That one a hair off the plate. 2 balls and no strikes to Advincula, who was All-West Region first team, D3 All-West Region first team, and All-Conference first team with Redlands this year. Bounce back pitch, but it's low, and it's 3 straight balls to open the frame for Sharon.
And Advincula at the D3 level, a lot of guys look at the D3 tag and say whatever they shall say, but that's a tough conference, especially playing Division III baseball in the western half of the United States. It's a whole different ball game. Those guys are dogs, and Advincula, one of the best in all of Division III this past year.
Tight zone. Sharon just misses on the outer half, doesn't like the call. And it's a 4-pitch walk to open up the frame against Advincula. In 39 games this season with the Bulldogs of University of Redlands, video game numbers, 430 the batting average, 540 the on base, and 656 slugging.
And going back to a lot of them, they look crazy. That's because they are crazy. Those are program records near the top of the program in a lot of those numbers. And you look at slugging and believe in the NWC, that's right near the top. There's a lot of guys coming from the western half of Division III baseball, and SCIAC, excuse me. That's possibly the toughest conference in all of Division III baseball.
Yeah, and you see him carry it over into this summer as well. Advincula with a 344 batting average as a swing and a miss here gets Sharon ahead 0-2. That's 8th in the league. He also leads the team in stolen bases and runs and has been a huge part of this Corvallis offense with a team that is primarily Division I guys. So goes to show the talent from the runner on first base. 0-2 the count to the top of the order, Logan Johnstone. Fastball left up, a ball and 2 strikes to the right fielder.
You're talking about one of the biggest D3 baseball supporters coming out of Division III school. Myself, with things, even with the suites, go back to the suites, 2 of the best in the SCIAC as well, and Kai Osaka, Davis Milwaukee. Those 2 were right at the top in a lot of the offensive categories as well. So to see Advincula come here and do it with Corvallis at this high of a stage, it's incredible.
Swing, and this one's rocked out to right center field. Rollator's got a long way to go, but he flags it down at the track. Advincula was a long way all the way up to second. And back to the bag, scrambles the runner. It's out number 1. And that is something we've seen a lot of this season at the Orchard and really in the history of this stadium. Balls hit hard off the bat really die out here in the Valley, especially with those deep fences out in the alleys in center field and the 16-foot wall.
Things are quite similar on the other side of the Valley as well at Borleski. Things won't carry as much as you think they do. That's very much true here. And with that, we've seen some spectacular defensive plays. A lot of Pippins. You go back, last time I was here with the Sweets and Pippins series, it seemed like every other at-bat, someone was doing something crazy in the field. It was a lot of fun, especially if you love defense. It was with our general manager, Cody Miller, said there's still a dent from Will Fenning in right field, which is always fun to see. But it's a different beast kind of playing here in Yakima. It's very different for Corvallis, come from Goss Stadium, which night and day in terms of ballparks, a Division I facility, turf field, the works, and then here, Yakima County Stadium, very different. Grass, very old-fashioned in how it is, and obviously that high wall. Very intimidating as a batter to see that and say, I got to clear that?
Yeah.
A little tough.
It's an adjustment to make for sure, as this one's on the ground to the left side, foul, and the count to 1-1. And we've seen tons of defensive plays because that ball dies off the bat. That fly ball was 97 off the bat and 363 feet, but it wasn't even close to leaving the yard. And in a lot of places in the West Coast League, that one's gone.
You see it, and you say, oh, well, this is a very different ball game because you think it's out of here, and that just drops in the track and into the glove. It looks like an easy play. Definitely wasn't, but it looks super easy to get there once it's finally there.
And for the Pippins' perspective, that can be demoralizing for Corvallis, as a great curveball is a swing and a miss for a strike. When you hit the ball that hard off the bat, you're expecting to get a hit 9 times out of 10, and that one is the 10th time as Rollator tracked it down.
We've talked to a lot of guys around this league. In a way, they do not like playing here. They do not like playing here. They see the wall, and they're all like, man, how am I supposed to get a hit out there? And they're right. It's very difficult to do so.
And Pippins not very high on the home run total when it comes to the league, and a lot of those home runs they do have come on the road. Biggest home run we saw was a few series ago on a new addition to the team, Kyle Williamson, who did not have enough appearances to make the postseason roster. Williamson joined the squad, committed to YVC. His older brother played for the Pippins and was a huge part of the run last year for Yakima Valley before he was drafted. And he's a shorter guy with not very big. You don't expect a lot of power from him, but no one knew what to expect coming in, and he hit a 410-foot home run to straightaway center as an incoming freshman at YVC. Throw to first, and another pickoff in this ball game. This time it's Sharon. Throws out at Vincula, and there's out number 2.
And we saw it. We've already seen it in this game. Saw it before it happened to the Pippins, and now we go back and kind of readjust it as the batter. Now you have 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. It changes your approach. And Sharon, you're playing with a smile on your face. You know, you're kind of in the driver's seat.
2-2 breaking ball is just poked at the plate. Defensive swing from Victor Quinn, and it keeps him alive. But Advincula, again, leads this team in stolen bags, and he was definitely on the move on that pitch, and Sharon got him leaning out towards second base, and he couldn't dive back in time. A couple of big plays over there at first base as a 2-2 home is swung on and popped out of play, and the count remains the same.
And we were forced to see it in the last inning for the Pippins. Now you're seeing it for Corvallis in a little bit more of a different spot. You're playing with 2 outs now. As a hitter, you're playing with 2 outs, 2 strikes. Midway through your at-bat, you're forced to change your entire way of thinking.
Swing and a miss. The changeup gets Tyler Quinn, and a strikeout for Daniel Sharon. 3 scoreless for the righty. Gets a pickoff to get the runner at first base. A flyout and a strikeout completes this third, and the Pippins are rolling. They lead 3-0 and come to the plate when we return.
Who knew it was so difficult to find the right bank?
I know. It's so confusing.
And checking out your banking options? Oh, sounds overwhelming.
The cloud of uncertainty. Enough!
With Banner Bank, it's easy to manage your finances, and help is here when you need it.
Be gone, Cloud!
Oh! Wait! Ah!
Built for action, built for banking. Banner Bank.
If we win the lottery, we'd remodel our home.
We'd start with the kitchen.
And out back is where the big trucks will go.
Ben, you don't even live here anymore?
Hey, don't forget about Grandma.
Okay, family meeting. Come on.
Welcome to the Ice Dome.
Pippins back to the plate, and it's the heart of the order, starting with Jackson Reed. Left-handed hitting outfielder takes ball one as the right-hander continues to work on the mound for Corvallis. Reed flew out to left field in his first at-bat. Checks his swing, but it's in there for a strike regardless, and the count's a 1-1. And he has been one of the top hitters in the league as he leads this team and is fifth in the West Coast League with his .357 batting average. 1-1 dips inside, 2 balls and a strike as Cam Day continues to work.
And going with Day a little bit, obviously Corvallis on the same mindset we are.
This one is blooped out to left center field, but on the move is Advincula as he runs it down in the alley. And again, a ball that hangs up in the air for a while and is caught. Out number 1.
And with Day and what we were talking about with Corvallis on the same page we are, they're trying to get him to go as long as he can. He's very much still in this game. It's not like there's been a truly explosive inning that has taken Corvallis out of things. They're trying to get him to at least go past this inning, see if they can get him into the 5-6 range so they don't have to use many more arms. And a guy who clearly can go as a freshman, you mentioned again a starting spot with Utah, has the talent, has the ability, is still throwing pretty hard. It's just maybe seeing him lose a little bit of control here or there, but all around definitely can go.
And, of course, the confidence a factor. When you see 6 hits up against you through the first 2 innings, I'm sure you might want to stay away from some of those pitches that are getting hit, and it mixes up those pitch differences, makes you more predictable as that one misses off the plate. And the count to 3-1 on Sorensen, who's, again, played with Cam Day throughout travel ball in high school. 3-1. There's a strike, and it's full. Day out of Layton High School was the number 1 ranked overall player in Utah for the class of 2021 on Perfect Game. Sorensen stays alive on the foul ball. And what did he do in his graduating year? 11-1 the record in 2021, 76 innings and 133 strikeouts to 9 walks. That's what you got to do to go D1 these days. 3-2, fouled away.
The amount of talent really everywhere, well, not really much of a shock when you see those numbers and say, oh, yeah, he's a starting pitcher at a Pac-12 school. Oh, yeah, I believe you. I believe you. And the craziest thing about that is some guys do that.
As Sorensen pokes it into left field, and he's got a pair of hits on the day. Cam Day gives up the 7th hit of the ball game to this Pippins squad, and a runner aboard with 1 down.
And going back, that's something you really love about college baseball. There's guys doing that everywhere in the country, and they end up here or there, the other place. You get a guy doing that and continuing that in the West Coast League. We've talked about how high quality of a league this year is, especially for younger guys going into Pac-12 situations. Guys are doing that everywhere, and it's so crazy to see how people do.
This one scoots off the glove of the catcher, Tanner Smith. Up to second goes Sorensen. And the wild pitch has a runner in scoring position and sends a catcher and a pitcher down to the bullpen for Corvallis.
And back to the talent everywhere kind of mentality, we see a couple of D3 guys here. We've seen D2 guys in this league, plenty of them, plenty of quality Division II guys come out of this league. And that's a part of the fun of summer ball. You'll see a guy come from Utah go up against a guy from Central Washington or anywhere else, some guys from Pacific U, Whitman back in Walla Walla. So many different schools that you'll never see these matchups really ever. Get to see some guys gain some confidence because of it, whether it's pitcher and day or whoever's at the plate at the moment.
And there's really no better example of that than what we've seen this summer from Tyler Frieders. This one is blooped out to right, could be trouble, and it does drop in. Playing deep in right was Logan Johnstone. Sorensen had to see it down, so his late break gets him up to third, and runners will be on the corners with one away. So the Pippins have another scoring opportunity, this time for Jake Borst on the single from Shipman. Back to Frieders. Tyler Frieders got the opportunity to this summer to prove himself. There are a lot of guys from different teams all around the league that came into this transferring from the school that they were at and still didn't have a home coming into this summer ball season. Frieders was one of them at Utah Valley, transferred after his experience there and was in the transfer portal and was waiting to talk to schools. If he had flunked this season, he might not be playing college baseball in the fall. And Tyler Frieders came out, proved himself. What does he do? Just be phenomenal. His final 8 appearances of the regular season, he had 6 wins, 36 strikeouts, a 1.28 ERA, and a 0.96 whip. You can't ask for anything better than that in a league as competitive as the West Coast League. And Tyler Frieders ended up getting the job as a intentional rundown I mentioned earlier. Will do the job here. Tag is applied. Spencer Shipman is out, but a run will score, and the Pippins make it a 4-0 lead.
You go back and take a look with that one. Tanner Smith behind the plate. It's kind of an odd one to go after as a catcher, but you have to be aware of this. You know, there's a runner at third. What they teach you as young as you come as a catcher, pump fake down to third, send that runner back, then you could try the throw down if it's still there. But they're trying to get you to throw down. They want you to go after it. You feed right into the Pippins' hands, and a run scores because of it.
Borst sends this one down the line, but it just tails foul. That one might have had home run distance on that short porch and right. Had the height to get over that 293. But he's back to the plate as a long foul ball makes it 1-2. And the Pippins, in a prime opportunity here, they lead 4-0. Lined up the middle and off the glove of Cam Day. Recovered it short, and the throw is in time for the out. Oh, boy, that could have been scary. Day ducks out of the way. Jake Borst daps him up, apologizes, and you love to see that. Cam Day all right, and the out recorded. What a wild play to end this bottom of the third inning, but the Pippins add another run on the intentional rundown, and it's a 4-0 lead as we head to the fourth.
Be an energy efficiency hero. Install high-efficiency natural gas equipment, and you can be just like Cascade's most energy-efficient player of the game. Match his ERA of $710. Put some runs on the board by upgrading your furnace, improving your home's insulation, and switching to a condensing tankless water heater. Cascade's bench is deep with both residential and commercial incentives. Check them out at our website or give us a call and be an energy efficiency player of the game.
What's worse than standing in line at concessions? Now you can satisfy your appetite while remaining in your seat. With the mobile app Fan Food, you simply select Express Pickup and order your food. It is that simple. You deserve a VIP experience. Download Fan Food today.
Welcome back. It's the Pippins back to the field. We are through 3 innings of work, the first third of this game, and the Pippins lead 4-0 over Corvallis out of the gate. This is the most runs they've scored against Corvallis all season long in the 6 games they've played against them. And we are 3 innings into game 1 of this best-of-3 series. Leading off, a ground ball skips off the mound and makes it easier for Marinko. There's an out, generous bounce, sets up the second baseman and one away.
And we mentioned a lot about the offense. It's been really good for the Pippins. But we haven't talked a lot about the defense. They haven't allowed a lot of hits, haven't allowed a lot of base runners, and therefore, haven't allowed runs. Pretty typical and obvious things. But it goes down to the defense working behind the pitcher, and obviously, really good start tonight for Yakima.
And when you look at the errors around the field, Andrew Walters with the most this season at third base. Spencer Marinko has 15 on the year, and he's at second base tonight. But as the season's progressed, they've got a little bit more comfortable and out of that rut for the most part. Bit of a knock-on-wood situation, because you never know. Whenever I seem to bring up errors on the broadcast, that's when the defense usually fails.
Love to hear about the broadcaster jinx, all that stuff. We've all had the problem.
So we'll just try and talk our way out of it. One out as Kiko Romero takes a ball. 2-1 the count to the first baseman, and Romero's another great story out of Central Arizona. Video game numbers for him this year, as Central Arizona, of course, went on to win that JUCO National Championship, and Romero committed to the University of Arizona with the Wildcats. 2-1. Boris tried to frame that as best he could, but it missed out, and it's 3-1. Romero hit by a pitch in his first plate appearance of the day, but was left stranded at third base. Ground ball up the middle again. Corvallis on the move. He scoops it. Here's a throw. They got him! Connor Corvallis makes that look routine, and I can assure you it is not. The West Coast Conference Defensive Player of the Year up the middle makes the play and 2 outs.
And whenever you could get Romero out, it means so much. We talked about just coming out of Central Arizona and how good of a team they've been. But Corvallis is an amazing play there. Looked routine, but really just comes down to an impressive defensive player up the middle will stop anything, and you get a nice out number 2 because of it.
As the breaking ball finds the zone, or just misses up rather, it's ball 1. But Corvallis, the top defensive player in a competitive West Coast Conference, and that is a high honor, and we've seen that all season long from him, some absolute web gym plays at short. And that one too easy for Connor Corvallis. As the count starts 2-0 on Ryan Stafford, the DH, who has the lone hit for Corvallis so far. Stafford, a former Expedition League player with the Badlands Big Sticks in Dickinson, North Dakota, takes a strike to make it 2-1. A lot of former Expedition League guys. The former league I broadcasted in. And he was very talented with the Big Sticks last year. 15 doubles, 2 triples, 3 home runs, and 28 RBIs. As he lines this one into left field, and he now has a pair of hits against Sharon. Thinks about heading towards 2, but a quick relay in. And it's a 2-out single for Ryan Stafford. And the DH from Cal Poly is aboard.
For Sharon, you can put that hit a little bit in the back of your head at this point. 2 outs, you're working ahead, you're continuing to go after it, you allow a hit, not the end of the world. Just keep working the way you've been, try and get a ground out if you can, all that stuff. He's been solid in every aspect so far this evening. Hits will happen.
He will now face Tanner Smith and get the first real look at him. As Smith laid down the bunt in his last at-bat, he'll get to swing away with 2 outs here, and he takes ball 1. Was third-team preseason All-American last year at the University of Oregon, and was third-team All-America in 2021. Honorable mention for All Pac-12. And tons of accolades for him with the Ducks of Oregon.
This will be a little interesting. Coming from Eugene, get to play a Goss for all your home games. We've seen a little bit of that change happen. Obviously, a lot of guys with Springfield and the Drifters and playing so close to Oregon, Eugene specifically. Those kind of weird little flips, change of scenery, it's cool. It's also like this isn't home in a way. So getting a guy to come play at Corvallis, especially now in a playoff atmosphere late in the year.
1-1 the count. Daniel Sharon tries again. Swing and a miss on the changeup. 1-2. And back to the opportunities in summer ball in the West Coast League this year. You get Daniel Sharon, a guy coming out of Spokane Falls in the NWAC that gets to face a guy that batted .317 in the Pac-12 this year. So get to showcase the talent on all levels of baseball, and Sharon with the early advantage. 1-2 the count. Long look out of the stretch and time called. Perhaps some gamesmanship as Sharon doesn't leave the rubber. Now comes set. Here's the 1-2. Leaves the fastball a hair up. Make it 2-2 the count to Tanner Smith.
Going back to kind of the matchup, an MWAC guy going up against a guy who's one of the top players in all the Pac-12. That's fun to see. It's so fun to see these matchups, especially it gives a chance for a player coming out of the NWAC, a smaller school conference.
Loses the breaking ball, and you can see the frustration on Sharon. This is inside. The hit by pitch puts another runner aboard, but still with 2 outs, it brings up Mason Lee.
The NWAC, a lot of guys coming in from the NWAC, pretty obviously with the roots in the Pacific Northwest, but have really worked very well this past season. The JUCO guys have, you look at a lot of the numbers, a lot of those JUCO guys, whether they're coming out of the California JUCOs or the NWAC, they've been serious pieces of a lot of teams, whether how long that will be, whether it's a 10-day or whatever it may be. Those guys have filled some key spots and a lot of key roles, a lot of big teams.
And you don't have to tell the Pippins that twice. Kyle Crustangel, head coach of Yakima Valley, has seen tons of guys advance to the next level as this one's popped out of play. Connor Corvallis, one of them out of YVC, transferred to Gonzaga, got his opportunity. Hank Dunn will join that crew as he just wrapped up his season at YVC and is going to Gonzaga. Tyler Frieders out of YVC went to Utah Valley, and I was mentioning before that intentional rundown, just committed yesterday to Mid-America, one of the top NAIA schools in the country after the season he's had this summer. And more of those guys throughout the West Coast League. This one shot out towards center field. Rollator has to move. Not at all. Makes the catch. It's out number 3, and Sharon leaves 2 more stranded and keeps that big goose egg on the score column for Corvallis. 4-0 the score. Bottom of the 4th up next. It's the 7-8-9 to the plate.
Office Solutions Northwest is excited to be the official office supplier of the Yakima Valley Pippins. Proudly serving the Yakima Valley since 1967, we offer a wide variety of solutions at work. From pens and copy paper, desks and chairs, to soap and paper towels, along with free next-day delivery on most orders. We strive to be your local source for all of your office needs. Create a free account today by visiting our website at www.whobest.com, and we look forward to working with you.
Bottom of inning number 4 starts with Andrew Walters at the plate and a new arm on the mound. Only 3 innings for Cam Day, and he exits trailing 4-0. New arm in is Sean Weiss, and boy, has he been phenomenal this season out of George Fox University. Weiss has 16 appearances this summer, 5 wins, no losses, 5 saves, and a 1.50 ERA. He has only allowed earned runs in 4 of his 16 appearances this summer. And in 36 innings, 33 strikeouts to 3 walks for the lefty. Not a guy that's going to give you a lot of free passes, so the Pippins trying to capitalize if they can. 1-1 the count, and Walters checks his swing. It's called a ball, and the appeal says he went. So it's 1-2.
You talk about Weiss a little bit. Obviously, numbers incredible. Not much of a shock there, but his last couple outings, even though he got the win versus Bend going 3 innings, last 6 innings of work, he's given up quite a few amount of hits. Given up 10 hits in his last 6 innings over 3 games. He's given up 2 runs in those last 3 contests. Guy who, he's going to pound the zone, he's going to go after you. You have to make him pay for it, and so far today, Yakima has done that, taking out their starter, now going up against Weiss, who's been incredible. They struggled versus Weiss earlier on in the year. Have to make him pay in a spot like this.
2-2 the count, and that one misses high and away, so the count to 3-2. Full count on the first batter of the inning for a guy that has issued 3 walks all season long. His last walk was July 10th, and has had 6 outings since then. 3-2. There you go. What do we talk about? The broadcaster's jinx works in the Pippins' favor that time around, and it's a leadoff walk for Andrew Walters.
The Corvallis faithful are not happy with Mr. Zach McKinstry. I'll say it louder. Your name one more time. Zach McKinstry, bringing up the walk stat.
Yeah, they can look me up and
they're gonna find your Twitter and they're
shout me out on Twitter. Shouts out.
They're gonna come at a professional baseball player first. But.
Yeah, exactly. He can take all the heat. The fake Zach McKinstry traded to the Cubs recently. The real one giving you the broadcast today as a pop-up is fouled into the seats for strike 1 to Shane Simpson.
Very bold to say. Shouts out indeed, my friend.
Zach follows me on social media. We're tight.
You're tight? You're homies? I got you.
I had to DM him when he made it to the show, and he responded. Nice dude. Hopefully I get to go see a game. I can grab a jersey or something.
He said, do the name proud.
Yeah, exactly.
I can tell you nobody's fighting for the Gary Erdely tag on Twitter.
Yeah, you sure? That's a pretty common name.
Easiest domain ever purchased, GaryErdely.com. Had to fight with my dad for a good couple days.
Yeah, I thought the same about Zach McKinstry, but, small world. 1-1 the count. Shane Simpson watches this one run up and in. And back-to-back free passes from Sean Weiss, 2 runners aboard for the Pippins.
So after essentially a month since the last free pass given out, walking a hit by pitch to start off the start for Sean Weiss.
A guy that has been absolutely phenomenal this year, committed to the University of Hawaii, out of Canby, Ontario. Or on Canby, Oregon. It's been a long year.
You were up north for a good amount of it, so I can't really blame you.
Just got back from Kelowna. A lot of Canadian trips. As the bunt shown by Marinko, and it is a beauty. Trying to beat it out. The throw will beat him, but everybody's safe as it gets the job done. 2 in scoring position on the sack bunt.
It's just textbook. We talked about working with a little bit of small ball later on in the year. It's going to allow you to be more versatile as a team. They're forced to come up in spots like that. And even if you could beat it out, play a perfect bunt down the third baseline like that, put 2 in scoring position, you got 1 away. Picture perfect, exactly what you're looking for.
Head coach Brooke Knight giving out defensive instructions for his team. Luke Rollator, a lot of speed, and the Pippins have tried the suicide and safety squeeze in situations like this year. And Corvallis will bring the infield in. And a good opportunity to try and squeak one through the middle. Or score a runner here for Luke Rollator. Takes the first pitch fastball down the gut. And it's strike 1. Center fielder's got 2 hits today and a run.
That's part of the thing. You are going to lay down a little bunt here. I don't know. You got multiple hits on the contest. You got 2 on in scoring position, 1 away. Green light, in my opinion. Go at it. Try and drive 1 in.
Does show bunt. It is a squeeze, but it is fouled off the bat. A suicide squeeze. Rollator had no choice but to try and bunt on that pitch way out of the zone. Luckily got a piece, and Walters returns to third, but it's 0-2 the count. And that's the danger of that play is now you put yourself in a hole. And Rollator will have to perform. Down 0-2. 4-0, the Pippins lead. They look to add to it. Sean Weiss, the pitch. Fouls it away up towards the press box. I was showing you, Gary, the last time you were here. There are holes in the back of the wall of the press box from foul balls shot up here.
Sounds like Zach isn't making the grabs.
I've been waiting for my opportunity
waiting
this summer.
Waiting for your number to be called.
Exactly.
I'm the same way.
I've had 1 chance this year, and it tipped off the little press box door. So I didn't have the chance. 0-2. Tipped into the mid. It's hung on to by Tanner Smith, and a big strikeout. Rollator comes up empty. It's out number 2. And there's that risk reward of that squeeze.
And the thing that's bad about that is it gives Weiss a little bit of confidence here. Gives him a little bit of confidence. He gets a punch out, can say, all right, 1 pitch gets me out of this inning. I can cool myself down. 2 on. First time I struggled a little bit. I'm chilling after I get through 1 at-bat. Now if you're the Pippins, you have to change that mindset. You have to say, nope, that's not going to happen. Get a base knock here.
Connor Corvallis takes the first one outside for a ball. Right-handed hitting shortstop out of Gonzaga University. Started in over 50 games this year, was the team's starting shortstop. And helped Gonzaga on that regional run. Ended up with the top record in the regular season for the WCC, but lost in the WCC Championship as a foul ball finds the seats.
We talked a lot about the teams coming out of the Pacific Northwest and then going in their regionals. Gonzaga, a tough one. You have to go up against Virginia Tech squad in that regional, and then Columbia coming out of the Ivy League, where shouts out to the Ivy League because they were one of the best teams in all of collegiate baseball at one point.
Corvallis pokes it to right, charging in. The catch is made on the run by Logan Johnstone. And Sean Weiss gets out of it. Pippins had their opportunity to extend the lead, but Rollator with a strikeout and Corvallis the pop-out. And it's a 4-0 score through 4. Inning number 5 on deck. You're listening to Pippins Baseball.
The time is now to get started on your new career at Perry Tech. From AAS degrees in business technology and accounting and IT and communication systems to a fast 5-week professional truck driving program, acquire hands-on skills to help you reach your full potential. From financial aid to career services, the staff at Perry Tech are there to help you from start to finish. Take action today by calling Perry Tech 509-453-0374 or visit perrytech.edu.
It's sky blue, barn red. Caught up in the country, the only way I wanna be. Somewhere where the road ends, out there where the creek bends, that's where you can find me. Within fields of gold and cotton rows that never end in the sky. And take it slow, easy road, man, that's life. Caught up in the country.
Daniel Sharon takes his breath, steps to the mound, and gets ready to pitch in the top of the 5th inning against this Corvallis lineup that has not found much success against him. Only 2 hits so far, and both off the bat of DH Ryan Stafford. Spencer Scott will start his count with a called strike 1. 3-man crew for today's game and for what I presume the rest of the playoffs. Matt Van Houten at third base, Jim Courtney, the crew chief, at first, and Nick Hudlow, the home plate umpire, for this 3-man crew. As an 0-1 to the plate. Tad low, and it's even 1-1.
How about Sharon today? We kind of came in talking about the pitchers, talked a lot about Cam Day for Corvallis. Didn't mention a lot about Sharon. Today it's been his ball game.
65 pitches to this point through 4 scoreless innings in a huge spot for the Pippins. And his breaking ball finds the zone 1 and 2. And he has been great so far, trying to keep pushing into this game out of Spokane Falls. And another guy that had to prove himself this summer and recently committed to Central Washington in Ellensburg, about 30 minutes away. Playing for the Division II Wildcats come the spring. Just missed on the fastball there. 86 miles an hour, and TrackMan had it just a hair below the zone.
And even with that pitch, at a little bit over 85, 86, still looks like it comes out a lot harder than that. And that's one, as a hitter, you kind of have to check yourself on. You don't want to go after it. It's low in the zone, but it doesn't come in that fast. It looks a whole lot faster.
2-2 comes back with another, but that one too far out, and it's full. And in today's era of baseball where you get those power pitchers, everybody coming out and throwing mid-90s to high 90s, even over 100 in the MLB, a lot of flamethrowers, but still a spot for the guys that can locate, pinpoint, and utilize those off speeds. 3-2. Rock to left field. This could be trouble. It is to the wall, and it is off the wall in the air. Extra bases as into second base goes Spencer Scott, and the shortstop leads off the top of the 5th with a double.
We talked a lot about the dimensions here in Yakima. That definitely helps the Pippins. That was rocketed off the bat, looked to be gone, but stays in play. What could have been the first run of the ball game for Corvallis leads to only a double. And now Sharon, he knows he's worked well all game. That's a good shot. You give up one, but hey, could cool back down. You only got one on. Not a whole lot of damage done because of it. Still can kind of cool yourself down even with a shot like that.
The mentality of a pitcher in this scenario is just so important. Try and put that in the rearview mirror. That's what Daniel Sharon will try and do after the leadoff double. He'll face the center fielder Jonah Advincula, who walked and was picked off the last time on base. First pitch breaking ball is outside, 1-0 the count. As Spencer Scott stands on second with his double, 94 miles an hour off the bat. And the wind has been blowing around in a couple of different directions leading up to this game, but right now it looks like it's blowing out towards right center field, which gives advantages to these lefties at the plate. 1-0. Comes back with that slow looping breaking ball, but it's outside. 2 balls and no strikes, and a hitter's count to Advincula.
Now on the other side for Advincula, you have to take advantage of this. Nobody down, runner at second. You just got a big double to rattle up the pitcher who's been great all game in Sharon. Have to make him pay now. If he gives you something to hit, you have to get something to score that run.
43 games played this summer, and he does get a pitch to hit, but pops it up into foul grounds, left side. Walter's long run, but it drops foul. 2-1 the count.
Taking advantage. That's what things are going to come down to. You're trailing at this point. Game 1, so not the end of the world for Corvallis. They know they're going back to Corvallis. They're going back to Goss tomorrow. Would like to only have to play 1. Very well okay with playing 2. But you don't want it to get there. So it's spots like these that are so crucial to keep yourself in a ball game. Middle point, you don't want the pitcher gaining any more momentum. Have to get something here.
Chris Grotus heads down to the bullpen. He will get some tosses in as Sharon brings a 2-1 to the plate. Bunt is shown, but the fastball misses, and it's 3-1. And you know it's interesting when you get Corvallis to the point when Advincula is showing bunt on a 2-1 pitch with a runner on second base, nobody out. He's one of the best hitters in this lineup, and to take the bat out of the hand says something about how surprised Corvallis is trailing in this game.
It also kind of goes down to Corvallis. They know everyone can come in a spot and do damage, no matter who it is.
There's a strike on the 3-1, and it's full. And Sharon battles back. Top of the order in the on-deck circle, Logan Johnstone flew out in his last at-bat, but that one was 97 off the bat and hit a long way. Big pitch for Daniel Sharon as he looks for the first down of the 5th. Long look to the plate. Here comes a 3-2 from the righty. Tipped and off of Jake Borst. Tries to shake it off. I think he got that one right in the mask. And Jake Borst is a guy that has absolutely worn a lot of those this year. After starting over 50 games at Cal State San Bernardino at the Division II level behind the plate, comes in this summer and is in a three-way catcher position with Josh Davis, Sam Olson, and himself. And has to split time with him, but then in the second half of the season, both of those guys leaving, and he had to do the bulk of the second half by himself. And to go 50 games in a college season and then finish out this second half, some wear and tear from Jake Borst, but he is a tough cookie behind the plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Daniel Sharon, another payoff pitch. What a pitch, but it's called a ball. Sharon frustrated at that one, and it is just below the zone. Kyle Crustangel is going to come out of the dugout, and I doubt there will be a change, but definitely a situation to try and calm down the starter.
That's one where essentially the conversation is, yeah, that was a strike. That was a strike. You have 1 out on the board right now, and you kind of have to go, keep doing that. Keep firing that. That's a good pitch on 3-2 with a little bit of break. Get something down in the zone. Get them looking. It's beautiful. That's what you ask for in a starting pitcher later in his outing, to still get that pitch to full batters, not the chase. So, like you said, obviously this isn't much of a one at-bat, make it count type of situation. Maybe with the pitch count going a little bit up and you kind of have the arms to go, but you'd like to see him go until he can't. Walks the batter not even fully under his own doing. That was a great pitch on 3-2. You should have 1 out on the board. You don't. It happens. We're in a spot where you could get 2 quick outs. Something in the infield. Got 2 outs. Sure, you have a runner on, pending something miraculous. But ultimately, you go there and say, hey, that pitch right there, yeah, keep doing that. Very much enjoyed that.
And while the Pippins have had their struggles defensively, I've mentioned it throughout the season, the double play ball has always been there for Yakima Valley, as there's a strike from Sharon. In their series against Wenatchee, which was a crucial series, the Pippins needing to win that series to get a playoff spot, they finished with 7 double plays in that 3-game series, and they had a few more in that series against Kelowna, especially with the middle infield with the talented shortstop Corvallis, Spencer Marenko, a lot of talent at second base, and then Jackson Sorensen, a great glove at first, has been on the receiving end of a lot of picks to bail some teammates out on those as well. 0-1 the count to the leadoff man, Logan Johnstone. There's a ground ball. It is foul. Walters read that correctly. Trying to see that one foul. It was a little bit too slow rolling to have the chance to turn 2. And now behind in the count 0-2 is the right fielder.
And you go back and kind of discuss the past couple series for Yakima, and the Pippins have been forced to stay in playoff mindset really the past month, it seemed. So that kind of helps them in a spot like today. It's just another game for the Pippins. For Corvallis, okay, this is the postseason. Mentality kind of changes for the Pippins. Like, we've been doing this for weeks now. We're used to this. Win or go home? Yeah, no, we're used to that. We're guaranteed 2.
0-2 is a good changeup. It misses out. You see Jake Borst point back to Daniel Sharon, because that's where he wanted that pitch, trying to get the chase, but a disciplined take by Logan Johnstone, the freshman out of Gonzaga and Los Gatos, California. 1 ball, 2 strikes, nobody out, and 2 runners aboard. Daniel Sharon, the pitch. Ground ball pulled foul. Just can't time up Sharon. And again, that change of speeds is wearing and tearing on this Corvallis lineup.
Something with Corvallis that today we've seen a lot of it, even though it hasn't fully resulted in runners on or hits. Very disciplined at the plate. With 2 strikes are tough to put away, and you're getting a lot of pop-ups, ground balls. You're not getting the big swing and a miss a whole lot. That just goes to their plate discipline, especially now with runners on.
1-2, another good pitch that just misses, and Sharon, you can see that frustration as he receives the ball back. Nick Hudlow has been squeezing him a little bit. 2-2. Pippins fans and dugout alike giving it back to the home plate umpire. And he's had a quick trigger this year in a couple of situations as far as ejections go. Obviously, neither team wants that here down the stretch in the playoffs. 2-2. Ground ball, weakly hit, no chance at 2. Cut off by Walters. He throws across his body, and it's high. An error and a run scores, and now a throw to the plate gets away. Boos from the fans, and rightfully so. That is a freshman mistake from Andrew Walters. He cut the ball off from Connor Corvallis, who had a much better look at that play. And then Sorensen's throw to the plate nowhere close. Probably one he should have held on to, and a pair of runs score.
Goes back to kind of how we started off this ball game talking about discipline. Trying to limit the amount of runs you give up to Corvallis. Have them earn them. Have them be plays where they easily can drive in because they won the at-bat. They won the exchange. Right there, that's Yakima Valley beating themselves. Simple as you could put it. And not only 1 run scores because of it, 2 runs score. And now it's a completely different landscape of a ball game because just a little bit of a mental mistake.
And to not get any outs there is also huge. Still nobody away, and Sharon still has to face the heart of the order coming up. Bunt shown, and it's perfect on the lip of the grass. It's picked up, and everybody's safe. You couldn't have placed that any better. A bunt single and runners on the corners. And if you're Daniel Sharon, you've got to be furious on the mound right now. A couple of missed calls at the plate on some borderline strike calls. Then you got your 2 defensive errors to score some runs, and now a bunt single that is just absolutely perfect. It's not solid contact for Corvallis, but it's base runners that are getting them back into it.
It's 2 at-bats back-to-back that very well could have led with strikeouts. Could have had 2 outs on the board, still with 2 runners on in scoring position. Now, you have runners on the corners, nobody down, and you allow 2 runs to score because of it. Sure, simple as you could put it, that's exactly what happened, but it's frustrating as a pitcher because you go and say, it's not really my fault. He'll come off the mound after this inning and be frustrated, but not fully due to his own doing. It's not his fault the runs came aboard. He did his job. Had a ground ball in the infield. That's a chance to at least get 1, and you're probably not looking at a run fully being scored. But that all changes because of a defensive mistake where you talked about Yakima Valley and the errors this year. There's been quite a few. Add a couple more.
Good breaking ball is a strike 1 on Briley Knight, the left fielder who is grounded out to second twice. And for Andrew Walters, he has 17 assists at third base this year and 11 errors. That's a number that UCLA is certainly going to want to climb down as he approaches his year with the Bruins. First year with the Bruins, of course, after graduating from Corona High School. Andrew Walters, a kid that works hard, you can tell is invested in this season, and has really turned it on at the plate in this second half and down the stretch, and has been a huge piece offensively. But a lot of defensive mistakes from Andrew Walters.
And the big thing you mentioned about him, incoming. He's a young kid. He's going to figure it out. A lot of those are just due to mental things first.
Ground ball here towards second, and the throw will get the lead runner at second. Beating out the fielder's choice is Briley Knight, and he does drive home another run. And Corvallis has pulled in to within 1. 4-3 is our score.
So again, frustrating as a pitcher, but you look at that on a standpoint now, turn around and say, all right, there's only 1 on, got 1 away, Still playing with the lead. Let's get out of this inning, keep the lead, work from there. Keep things positive. And you know, offensively, Team Pippins have been good. They've been solid tonight, able to drive in runs in quite a few starts to the inning, and have started things off well offensively, hits, base runners, leading off innings. You know you're going to go back, and as long as you give them a little bit of a cushion to play with, you're going to try and get some more. Even if this is the final inning you do see, not necessarily the end of the world. Just get out of this inning, keep things where they are, and rock from there.
Sharon's up to 87 pitches right now, and again, this is an inning that could have been over much earlier, but now 5 straight batters have reached. The most recent Briley Knight on the fielder's choice, and it's the first out of this top of the 5th inning. What a breaking ball there, and Kiko Romero tried to send that one to the moon, but came up empty.
Go back and talk about the pitch count. Starting in this inning, it's around 65. So just look at that, and it might just take him out of the ball game just due to pitch count. Getting tired, getting longer in ABs. Don't know if they'd send him out for another one. Even if this one was to go 1, 2, 3, no runs, things already were going up.
1-1 the count. There's a good fastball, again borderline, and again called a ball.
Things are getting tough behind the plate. They're pitches that typically have been called for strikes for a bulk of the day. Just right here, things kind of switching up a little bit.
2 balls and a strike. 1 out. Here's the pitch from Sharon. That one's called a strike. Top of the zone. It's an off speed, and it drops in. Kiko Romero, a 2-2 count.
Now where are you going? The fastball a moment ago wasn't able to hit. Go with the changeup high. Seen the breaking ball a little bit. Honestly, doesn't really favor Romero. You're in a 2-2 even count, and as a pitcher, you can go with a lot here.
Here it is. Changeup swung on and missed. Great pitch from Daniel Sharon, and it's a strikeout. Romero is out number 2.
Romero not able to catch up to it. The changeup again. Throw it to him twice. Shows that he can't hit it. Beautiful pitch upstairs.
And that's right where you want that changeup. 73 miles an hour to a fastball that has touched 88 today and has sat probably, 85, 86. So a 10 or more change of speeds, miles per hour.
And the thing that's so impressive with the start tonight hasn't been reliant on a pitch. That one chasing a little bit higher. Sure, it was well away, but just showed the speed can get up. Things have been left on the toes. The changeup, near 10 mile per hour drop off, fastball hovering mid to low 80s pretty consistently. Breaking ball, borderline unhittable today. It's been fun to watch.
There's a strike, and it's 1-1 as he comes back with another fastball against Ryan Stafford, the DH out of Cal Poly, who had the only 2 hits for Corvallis through the first 4 innings before the double opened up this 5th in the single from Tyler Quinn. It's here with a ball and a strike, 2 away, and the runner on first base, Briley Knight. Underneath this and pops it up on the infield. Sorensen all over it by himself. Makes the catch, and there's out number 3. Sharon exits through 5 innings with a lead, but Corvallis chips away. They played 3 runs in this 5th. Some defensive mistakes from Yakima Valley puts the Knights back in it, and the Pippins trying to make it up at the plate. They send their 3-4-5 up, bottom of the 5th. Up next.
The time is now to get started on your new career at Perry Tech. From AAS degrees in business technology and accounting and IT and communication systems to a fast 5-week professional truck driving program, acquire hands-on skills to help you reach your full potential. From financial aid to career services, the staff at Perry Tech are there to help you from start to finish. Take action today by calling Perry Tech 509-453-0374 or visit perrytech.edu.
It's sky blue, barn red. Caught up in a country, the only way I wanna be. Somewhere where the road ends, out there where the creek bends, that's where you can find me. Within fields of gold and cotton rows, that never ending sky. At Take it slow, easy rolling, it's life. Caught up in the country.
Pippins back to the plate. Jackson Reed leads things off. He's 0 for 2 today with a pair of flyouts, but he has been the top hitter in the lineup for the Pippins this summer. Takes strike one from Sean Weiss. And the Pippins trying to find the same success they had against him in the fourth inning, at least for the start of the inning. Had the walk to hit by pitch, and then the sac bunt to put two in scoring position. But Luke Rollator going down on strikes after the failed suicide squeeze. And the flyout from Connor Corvallis. That's a run the Pippins would love to have right now in what has become a one-run ball game.
And we go back and kind of talk about Weiss coming on the mound. Back for another inning. He's now playing a completely different ball game. It's a one-run contest.
Jackson Reed gets things going, though, as he slaps this one into right field.
Going back to that point, have to keep him on his toes. Say, no, it's not really a different ball game. We still have the momentum. Go out, first at-bat, get a knock, get a shot, get a runner on. And we so far, we kind of talked about his last couple of outings. They haven't been great. 10 innings in the last three contests. Has given up runs in two of those, as well as giving up a swarm of hits as well. It's not been smooth sailing for Weiss in the past few. And today, not necessarily the case either.
First pitch is a strike to Jackson Sorensen as he gets to face the new arm for the first time. The Pippins have 8 of their 9 hitters in this lineup have reached in this ball game. The one exception is Jake Borst, as a good breaking ball is swung on and missed. The count 0-2. And Borst really should have a hit, the one that was shot up the middle, 97 off the bat and deflected out towards short. Success throughout the order. Jackson Sorensen takes the breaking ball outside. And the Pippins on the better end of a call this time around.
Sorensen, that's a good taken away. You go swing at the previous two. You stay away with something a little outside. Even if it would have caught, can't really blame him on that one.
1-2, another one. This one is popped up. Out towards shortstop, Spencer Scott makes the play, and there is out number 1. And that's another thing to take a look at once we get to the later stages of the game and it starts to get darker and darker here in the valley. Right now, beautiful sky as the sun sets, pink clouds everywhere, and a beautiful haze among the hills. But once it gets dark in the valley, and some of those fly balls are really hard to see, and we've seen that throughout the year, all year at the Orchard.
With that being said, enjoy the view.
Runner on the move here, and up and ready to throw is Smith. But the throw gets away. It won't matter, as Reed's in safely regardless. He picks up another stolen base. That is his 19th of the season, and he creeps closer to Luke Rollator's 21.
That's big. You get a couple of guys in your rotation that can swipe bags pretty consistently. You have multiple guys near that 20 stolen base mark. Put you in some really nice spots. Now one away, runner in scoring position, right back where you've seen yourself in a few different times this year.
This one rocked out into left field. Reed has speed. They're going to hold him, though. Throw in is cut off, so Shipman stays at first. But that's another single for Spencer Shipman, 82 off the bat and into left. And the Pippins finding some success off Sean Weiss here in the 5th.
Just get one a little kind of drop in a left. Like the decision to be put on pause there. Even with speed, that's one that you're not truly confident in going to the plate. Doesn't really matter who's on. Shallow hit ball into left. You have a runner trying to round third. Put the pause on. Got one away. Runners on the corners. Now you could play that little small ball that you wanted to play. Try and get the runner going towards second. We've already seen it work today.
Yeah, and if you get with that intentional rundown already, you know Tanner Smith's got a different perspective on it now. So even if he decides to look that runner back to third, you can move a runner into scoring position and break up a double play. But Borst will do it himself. Drives it out to right field. It drops in for a base hit. Reed scores easy. Shipman all the way up to third, and it's an RBI knock for the catcher, and the Pippins add to their lead.
That's exactly what you needed. You needed to come out in this inning and make Corvallis pay. They go and put runs up. You needed to answer. You needed to drive something in yourself. That's exactly what you do. You extend the lead a little bit and go and give whoever you turn to in the next inning, likely with the pitching change, a little bit of comfort.
It's now a 5-3 Pippins advantage on another hit for Yakima Valley. That is their 11th of the game, and we are only in the 5th inning. Just over halfway through this ball game, Andrew Walters tries to add another, swings through the fastball, and it's 0-1.
Goes down to the approach of the play. It's been a lot of fun. If you're looking at any game from an offensive perspective, you're a hitter, you see how things kind of work for the Pippins, you say, oh, this is a team I want to play for. Go first pitch swinging. Have fun. Green light given pretty often. We've seen elements of small ball incorporated.
A pitch out there. Not an official pitch out, but Tanner Smith set up so far outside expecting something to be on, and that's not something you see in baseball nowadays. As the count to 1-1. Seeing if Walters would chase at it, but he didn't. And he does swing at this one and tip it back. It's 1-2. Trying to make up for his error, which led to a run in the 5th inning.
Interesting to kind of go away there. See if he would go after it, kind of seeing if you could get the runner going. But he's gone after things in the zone, so keep firing.
Goes after this one, and again, skies it out towards shallow left field. Left fielder coming in is Knight. He will make the catch and fire in. And the throw on the money, no tag from either party. And the fly out is out number 2. That's a big out number 2 for Sean Weiss as well.
Very, standard play. But one that you look at and say, in the grand scheme of a ball game, spot like that, runners on the corners, you have a chance to put 2 away, and then the throw-in doesn't allow any damage. Look at that as a positive. And now you could go take into this at-bat for your Weiss. You know you're playing with a little bit more confident, head up, chin up, all that good stuff. Got 2 away. Just work out, continue what you're doing, and you can go for another inning if you need it.
Well, now that Borst has reached with his single, all 9 Pippins have reached, and 8 of the 9 have hits. The exception is Shane Simpson, and a throwback to third base. He's safe, and the runner moves up to second. So there's that pump fake, and even though that the Pippins can't score the run on an intentional run down there, they move another runner up to second.
Does its job. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do. At this point, you got 2 outs in the inning. Not really too worried about moving a runner over to second. But Smith, easily learning his lesson, said, all right, I know where things went wrong. I'm not letting it happen again. Don't allow the run to score. Simple as it could be. Move the runner over. Fine. Whatever. You got 2 outs.
0-1. Simpson late on this pitch and fouls it away to the left side, 0-2. And I can guarantee you Kyle Crustangel is ecstatic with the way his team has run the bases today, outside of the one hiccup, which was the pickoff at first from Andrew Walters. But when you get a team to think about the base running, it takes their focus off of other areas of the game, and that is huge in game 1 of a series. Swing and a miss there from Weiss. He gets the strikeout. That's his 2nd of the outing. But the Pippins respond in the 5th with a run of their own, and they move the lead to 5-3. Yakima Valley in front. We'll see if Sharon heads back out when we return for the 6th up next.
Saving has never been easier at Bi-Mart. In-store or online, we're delivering more value than ever to our members. From direct mailed savings books, to digital savings guides, to everyone's favorite Lucky Number Tuesday. Plus, we're adding new ways to save with Bi-Mart's Buy It Online, Pick It Up in-store, new web-only items, and the ability to shop Cascade Farm and Outdoor and pick it up at your Bi-Mart store. More value, more products, more ways to save. Bi-Mart members save more time and money every day.
Welcome back. The lefty, Chris Grotus, takes over on the mound. Incoming freshman at UCLA will take over against the 6, 7, 8 in the order. With a 2-run lead, he replaces Daniel Sharon, who does his job, and he exits the ball game with a lead. 6th inning starts now as the lefty out of Anaheim, California, takes to the mound. Let's look at some of the other games going on in postseason play in the West Coast League. The Portland Pickles and Ridgefield Raptors tied at 5 in a tight ball game, bottom of the 6th in Ridgefield. Bellingham leads 3-2 over Victoria in the top of the 6th in Victoria. And then Wenatchee up big on the road, 8-0 over Kamloops up north. Grotus and Borst will talk over the signs before the inning gets going. And you can start to feel that wind pick up a little bit as well ahead of the start of the 6th inning. Chris Grotus on the mound, has had 10 total appearances this year, 5 starts, and has had some really good starts, some really good appearances out of the pen, and also the flip side of that coin, some bad starts, some bad appearances, but has been a solid piece of the rotation all summer long as his first pitch fastball misses low for ball 1.
See a guy in Grotus. You talk about his numbers, up, down, in the middle sometimes, coming off a 6-inning contest, and the last time out versus Wenatchee. Got the loss in it, allowed 6 runs, but then you go look at his previous 2. Nanaimo and Kelowna combined 7, no earned runs, 2 hits. It's something that's like, who will get in this one? And just based on momentum and how things have worked for the Pippins, probably hoping and looking for something pretty impressive.
13 earned runs allowed through his first 9.2 and first 3 appearances with the Pippins this summer. But as he got comfortable, he started to get better and better. And he works a pop-up here that is into shallow left. Connor Corvallis calls off Andrew Walters, and there's out number 1. And that's another similar to Walters, both going to UCLA. Grotus coming out of high school. You're coming into a locker room with a bunch of college guys. You have no idea. You don't know anybody here except for Walters, both incoming, so they had known each other a little bit. And you got to get comfortable with the locker room first, and once that happened, Chris Grotus has just been better and better, and it was really highlighted with the 6 shutout innings against Nanaimo in that win. This one popped up right side on the bunt attempt, but it's right at Jackson Sorensen for out number 2.
That's kind of an underrated aspect of summer ball. Get you used to things. When you're in high school and playing travel ball, you're used to those guys. You play with them since you're 5, 6, 7 years old. Forced to go into a different environment, similar like you will at school. The difference is summer ball is going to change pretty often. Every year, typically, you're playing with new guys, and Grotus clearly got used to that, got used to playing with a different group of guys every day. And it's worked out pretty well for him. And that's something that's going to make him a better pitcher when he goes to the Division I level. He's going to go in and say, I know how to work with a different group of guys. I know how to work with college kids. Even though I'm 18, just turning 19, I understand now. And there's some guys that get it quicker than others. And then there's some guys who don't. Grotus obviously gets a little bit of experience playing with the Pippins. Gets him ready for that.
And you talk about his age. His last start was August 3rd against Wenatchee. Earned the loss in that start, but went 6 solid innings, allowing only 4 earned runs. And was solid through 5 innings and a little bit of a late jump in that one, again, due to some defensive mistakes. But headed home because he had jury duty. 2-0 is a strike. At 18 years old, he was selected for jury duty. And he had to head back to Anaheim and expected his season to be done, said his goodbyes. Somehow the Pippins miraculously made the playoff spot on the final day of the season, and he sent the text to the group message and said, oh, yeah, I'm coming back. I'm taking the 16-hour drive back to Yakima, and he's pitching in Game 1 of the playoffs.
And that's so cool to see. There's a lot of guys who, in a spot like that, they're home, ready to go back to school, already home. And he said, 16 hours? Oh, yeah, that's nothing. I'll meet you guys in Yakima. And in a spot like that, that kind of shows his toughness.
This one on a line to center. Rollator on the move, makes the catch. It's out number 3, and Grotu's 3 up, 3 down. Starts his return back in Yakima. Not too shabby for the incoming freshman. Bottom of the 6th up next. Pippins' lead is 2.
Be an energy efficiency hero. Install high-efficiency natural gas equipment, and you can be just like Cascade's most energy-efficient player of the game. Match his ERA of $710. Put some runs on the board by upgrading your furnace, improving your home's insulation, and switching to a condensing tankless water heater. Cascade's bench is deep with both residential and commercial incentives. Check them out at our website or give us a call and be an energy efficiency player of the game.
What's worse than standing in line at concessions? Now you can satisfy your appetite while remaining in your seat. With the mobile app Fan Food, you simply select Express Pickup and order your food. It is that simple. You deserve a VIP experience. Download Fan Food today.
(9-1-2) in the order. It starts with Spencer Marinko at the plate. He'll face Sean Weiss for the second time today. Swings at the first pitch. Sends a high one out towards center field. Still on the move. It's over the head of Advincula. Up to second goes Spencer Marinko, and he got a little assist from the home wind in Yakima. Carries all the way out to the warning track and drops over the head of the center fielder. It's a leadoff double.
You mentioned the elements. I believe an inning ago, maybe 2 innings ago, as the sun started to fade down. Well, there it shows its head. A little bit darker, a cloudier day. Loses things in the sky, and the wind obviously helping to give it a little bit of a boost going out now. So, all in all, a lot of home advantages for Yakima so far today. And if you're on the side of the Pippins, love to see how things start off in this inning.
Huge opportunity gifted by the Corvallis defense as that one kept on carrying. Rollator shows bunt, gets it down. It's a beauty, and the throw to first is in time for the out. Up to third base goes Marinko. The first baseman dropped it on a transfer, is what first base umpire and crew chief Jim Courtney is saying. Kyle Crustangel is staying put for now, and they will be content with the sack bunt.
You mentioned earlier today, you were talking about this postseason, kind of need to stay cool-headed. One that you could argue, Andrew Crustangel, probably have a little bit of a chat about it.
Connor Corvallis at the plate. Shallow pop-up right field, charging in the right fielder, wind blowing it, and it drops in for a hit. Marinko will come home. Throw is over everybody, and Corvallis up to second. Good time to come to the plate. The Pippins timed it well because this wind is howling, and the Pippins score another.
Right there. That's a great job done by the Pippins. Play it smart. You got a runner at third. You know something might drop, so keep that in mind. Your Corvallis, you kind of say, maybe he hasn't dropped. Round first, go for 2. They had 2 infielders in for that entire time, as half the infield went to go try and haul things in. No one did. Had a whole lot of bases empty at the time. Now you have a runner at second. You're so pumped about that. Run scores because of it, so positives. Well, you probably could have said, hey, let's get more aggressive on the base paths. Have a runner at third.
And that's going to go as an error against Logan Johnstone. And a single, an RBI, and an error, which moves Corvallis up to second. Another pop-up, and they have been anything but routine. This one is caught. Wow, what a sliding effort from Spencer Scott. Tyler Quinn was nowhere close to that ball, still tailing backwards with the wind, and Spencer Scott, a sliding basket catch in foul territory.
Man, Spencer Scott showing it off there. Talking about things with Quinn, it goes back to the elements, goes back to things getting pretty dark here. Pops up, everyone kind of lost it, still kind of trailing back on it. Scott says, all right, no, I'm there. I got you, big dog. Comes down with a grab. Great play made there and puts 2 outs on the board.
It brings up Jackson Sorensen with a runner on second base. And his first pitch is a fastball swung on and missed for strike 1. Boy, is that wind played a factor here in this bottom of the 6th inning. And the Pippins have added to their lead. The double for Marinko started things out. The sac bunt, which again, that transfer could play a big role as well. As Rollator was called out. We've seen a play exactly like that earlier this year against Kamloops. In the bottom of the 8th inning, the Pippins had the tying run on with 2 outs, and the throw to first was picked, and when the first baseman came down with it, slapped it off his leg, the ball came out. And Cole Armstrong was livid, got ejected from that game, and got a hefty suspension as well, as that one's fouled back.
And before the hit a moment ago, we were kind of talking about, man, maybe Crust Angel should try and talk this one over. We mentioned earlier, maybe not so much. We've seen quite a few ejections happen in this ballpark from multiple different parties. With that being said, do that in the playoffs, you're looking possibly at a suspension, maybe a fine, something like that. You have minimal games, so who knows how this one could end. Obviously looking good for Yakima. But then you go to Goss. You still have another game. Have to keep that in the back of your mind. Keep cool heads. And so far, for the Pippins, cool as can be. But we want to keep that.
And Jackson Sorensen, meanwhile, having a great at-bat here, battling off these 0-2 pitches and fouls away another as he stays alive. First baseman is 2 for 3 today with a pair of singles, an RBI, and a run. And also to note, if Rollator is safe on that play, then that fly ball to right all of a sudden probably becomes an out because it's so shallow. Rollator would have to stay at first. The throw to second's out too, and another scoring opportunity wouldn't occur for the Pippins. 0-2, Jackson Sorensen pokes this one foul. Again, the wind will blow it, and this time around it's out of play. I think that was a failed catch by my host dad over there in Lefties, so I'll have to give him some crap for that when I get back home.
Going back with this at-bat for Sorensen, we'll bring that up, don't you worry. But with Sorensen, man, 0-2, this entire at-bat, fouling everything off. This is beautiful. Love to see this, and whether it goes into a hit or not, goes into a situation, works for Sorensen, you go and take this at-bat and says, whole lot of positives to work off of.
Lined up the middle, it's through for a base hit. Jackson Sorensen, his 3rd hit of the game, drives home a run and fires up the dugout. 7-3, the Pippins advantage.
The baseball gods are nice. When you're nice to them, they'll be nice to you. You play the game right, you'll get rewarded for it. Right there, shows it in the length of one at-bat. 0-2 fight, claw, grit, show it all. Lace one up the middle, driving a run, beautiful. Absolutely great at-bat there from Jackson Sorensen.
And he has had those at-bats all year long in the walk-off victory against Wenatchee, which is arguably the biggest win of the year for the Pippins. A loss, they probably lose that series, and they miss a playoff spot. Jackson Sorensen in the bottom of the 9th, or it was in the bottom of the 12th, I believe. He drew the walk, which was the huge moment in that bottom of the 12th inning on 11 pitches in that at-bat.
And that's the type of at-bats that separate good teams from great teams. You go and do stuff like that, you're going to go far, however your season goes.
Now he's on the move as he tries to take second. Good throw, but the tag not there. And Jackson Sorensen with a stolen base. He's done it all for the Pippins this year. Also in that walk-off win, bottom of the 9th, 2 outs, 2-2 count, 6-pitch at bat, and an infield single brought home the tying run in that game. So he's come up in some clutch moments this year, and he is a huge piece of this Pippins team, the heart and soul of that Pippins dugout. And he's coming through again with that RBI single and stolen bag. 0-2 to Shipman. That one swung on and missed in the dirt. Shipman will run it out, but the throw is there for out number 3, and Yakima Valley plates 2 more. The lead is back up to 4. 7-3 the score. Pippins in front of Corvallis. Game 1 of the best of 3 series.
Who knew it was so difficult to find the right bank?
I know. It's so confusing.
Checking out your banking options? Oh, sounds overwhelming.
To common certainty.
Enough!
With Banner Bank, it's easy to manage your finances, and help is here when you need it.
Be gone, Cloud!
Oh, wait. Ah!
Built for action, built for banking. Banner Bank.
If we win the lottery, we'd remodel our home.
We'd start with the kitchen.
And out back is where the big trucks will go.
Ben, you don't even live here anymore?
Hey, don't forget about Grandma.
Okay, family meeting. Come on.
Welcome to the ice dome.
Chris Grotu's on the mound. He pitches with a 4-run lead against the 9-1-2 in the order. It starts with Jonah Advincula, the center fielder who has walked and scored in this ball game. No official at-bat with his 2 walks today, and he takes the slow slider in there for a strike. More like a slurve pitch from Chris Grotu's. But if he's going to be successful in this outing, that pitch and that curveball are the 2 pitches that he has to locate. 0-1. Does it again. This one is popped up, and you're going to see a ton of those with Chris Grotu's on the mound. Similar to Daniel Sharon, a guy that does not have tons of velo, got injured in high school and lost a lot of that velo. But that breaking ball drops so much, it's so hard to not get underneath that ball if you're trying to square it up.
When you get hurt in a spot like that, it kind of forces you to learn more, become a different style pitcher. Back with the Sweets this season, we had the same spot with going into his first official season with Gonzaga and Colby Solomon. First couple of outings, they weren't good. He was still learning, coming off a Tommy John surgery where he hasn't played really a live ball game in 2 years. Still learning. As the season went on, he said, all right, my primary pitch is this hard 12-6 curve.
This one is rocketed out to right center field. On the move is Rollator. He will dive, and it's beyond him and to the track. Strong effort from Rollator, but he comes up just short, and it's a 1-out double for Logan Johnstone. And Corvallis with a runner aboard. That ball smoked into the gap, and Rollator still almost ran it down.
And we talked a little bit earlier about some of the highlight plays we've seen. We gave a good amount of credit to the elements here in Yakima. That's not fully the case because there's been quite a few studs out in the field for really everybody defensively, but mainly with the Pippins. Right there, you kind of see a part of why there's so many highlight plays coming out of this place.
Yeah, that one could have been a lot worse for Chris Grotu's. He hung a 79-mile-an-hour changeup at the very top of the zone. And it was sent a long way out to right center field, 91 off the bat. And it's a 1-out double for Logan Johnstone. First hit for him of the day. It brings up Tyler Quinn, who is 1 for 3. Another interesting fact about Chris Grotu's, he has a nasty knuckleball that hasn't used it in games at all. Is this one just off the plate for a ball? Again, not by much. So the lefty misses.
You're just dying to see that one get broken out.
Oh, yeah.
Do 3 pitches, drop a slurve, a changeup, and then knuckleball out there.
It was fun. So I went out to shag during BP while we were in Victoria, and Chris Grotu's just throwing the ball around a little bit as he finds the zone on this effort, 2-1. And he threw a knuckleball, and that thing shook so much. I don't even remember who he was throwing to, but they almost dropped it. And they were like, oh, my gosh, why are you not throwing that in game?
You're just shocked. Eyes open up at that point. As a catcher trying to haul it in, can't really do much.
Misses off the plate. He pushes that one outside, 3-1. So that's always an interesting pitch to have in the bag. You never know.
With a pitch like that, you kind of, behind the plate, you don't really become much of a catcher. You're a blocker at that point.
3-1 the count to Tyler Quinn, the third baseman, and he'll see the pitch. Swing and rope it to third. Andrew Walters watches it go by him. It will score a run. Up to second base goes the runner. Here's a throw in from Simpson. Not in time. And that's a play, again, that should probably be made at third base.
It's a tough one. On the hot corner, a hot shot straight to you. Try and haul it in. One that you can argue maybe a more experienced player would have made. Granted, that's fair to say, but it's still hard off the bat. Going straight to you. Takes a pretty gnarly bounce. Should be looking at it out there, but not the easiest one to haul in. One that should have been made, you're absolutely right. But the younger guy, those plays are going to happen. Just have to get adjusted to them, and that's part of what this is. But now you got to look. It's a 3-run ball game.
That is an RBI double, not listed as an error for Walters. 80 miles an hour off the bat. And that's a tough play to snag at the hot corner. But Chris Grotus, with one out, has the runner on second. It brings up the heart of the order, starting with Briley Knight, the left fielder. He has grounded to second base in all three of his at-bats. 2 groundouts and then the fielder's choice where he reached. And he takes this one inside, 1-0 the count.
Before, we kind of opened up the broadcast talking about guys that have a good amount of innings played in West Coast League action. 2 teams that necessarily have deep history, but a lot of the guys don't in this rivalry. It's not the case for Briley Knight. Guy who's been in the West Coast League quite some time, knows about the history of the Knights, obviously with the last name and who's in the dugout. Well, not in the dugout at this point. If anyone has things on the line in this series, kind of probably the final chance Briley will get to go as a player in the West Coast League postseason, it's Briley Knight.
Son of head coach Brooke Knight. Has had an extensive Division I career, and he swings in front of that slurve pitch, 1-2. Started his college career in 2019 with the University of Utah. Appeared in 40 games with 28 starts. And in 7 games in 2020 before transferring to Portland, where he's been the last couple of years. Finished with a .247 batting average in 2021 and .252 his average this year. That's a tough pitch to lay off of as it breaks outside the zone, and the count to 2-2. But 85 total games played, 81 starts with Portland, and several more with Utah. A lot of experience, especially in a West Coast League that doesn't have a ton of veteran guys. Briley Knight is the seasoned vet. 2-2. Wow. Good pitch. Just outside, it's full, 3-2.
And one for Knight that kind of look at and say, yeah, kind of had to go with that. He gets a break there as it doesn't catch the zone, but very well should have and very well should be taking a walk with that pitch. It was a great pitch on the outside.
Grotus looks to bounce back. Payoff on the 3-2. Swing and a miss. And he gets the strikeout anyway. Out number 2. You can see the little flare as he got that ball back. He wanted that strikeout, and he got it.
You knew the next pitch was going to be something if you're Briley. Got to go after. Kind of at that point. If it's close, it's one that's probably going to get called. That one cut away at the last second. Had to give chase, and big-time punch-out for Grotus, who's today, that breaking stuff, fully on. Today it's been a good outing for a guy who, like you said, just rejoining the team. Lengthy trip back up. in unlikely circumstances to go back down.
There's that same fastball, and again, call the ball outside. So it's a 1-0 start to Kiko Romero, a guy with a lot of pop in his bat. 0 for today, was hit by a pitch in the second and was left stranded. Grounded out to short, struck out swinging. And now has a 1-0 against Chris Grotuz. There's that breaking ball inside. It misses 2 balls and no strikes now to the Tucson, Arizona native.
Romero, coming out of the JUCO national champions, was one of the best players in the entire postseason. Believe the regular season numbers weren't anything crazy, but the postseason numbers, incredible. We batted over 400 as well as 6 homers. Led all of the JUCO ranks in homers in the postseason. And coming out of Central Arizona, a team that all throughout the regular season, Believe played with wooden bats. So this is not really much of a shocker for him going, and that's why the transition from Central Arizona to Corvallis have been pretty seamless.
3 balls, no strikes. Grotuz a long look to second, and whoa, this one hits the bull as the wild pitch scoots a runner up to third base, and the walk puts 2 aboard with 2 outs.
Grotuz, sure, was not the prettiest way to walk a batter, but you still have 2 outs. You can calm down, cool things down, and again, you're in a spot because you worked well in the start of the inning. For lack of a better term, you're chilling.
I think he overcooked that one a little bit, trying to power in a fastball to beat Kiko Romero there, and ended up spiking it in the opposite batter's box. So runners on the corners, 2 aboard. It's Ryan Stafford, the DH, who's got a pair of hits today off of Daniel Sharon. He's 2 for 3, and we'll see his first at bat against Grotuz as the first pitch misses outside. Ball 1.
Grotuz in a spot where very well winding into a situation where he's going to have to feed into the batter's hand, and at that point, don't know how things will land. We talked about the numbers, the velocity on the fastball. If you deal one in a spot, some damage definitely can be done. They can time up that breaking stuff. It's not really looking good for Grotuz.
Here's a good breaking ball for a strike. 1-1 the count. Does have the confidence of the offense, who has scored a run in every single inning outside of the 4th inning. 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the 5th, and 2 more in the 6th. And another arm for Corvallis warms up in their bullpen. Pippins will send Jake Borst, Andrew Walters, and Shane Simpson to the plate in the bottom of inning number 7 once we get there. Grotuz trying to send us to the stretch. In the dirt on the 1-1, 2 balls and a strike to Ryan Stafford. Stafford only playing in 15 games this summer with Corvallis. Late add to the roster, started July 18th. But has played in 15 games, 17 hits, 48 at-bats, and a .354 batting average. Turns around on this one, shoots it into left, and will plate a run on the single. Rounding second, but throwing on the brakes is Kiko Romero, and it's an RBI knock to cut the lead to 7-5.
One thing that I absolutely love with Corvallis, they are a tight-knit group. Even if new guys join, they are very close as a team. Everybody super close, and you go with that in spots like this where you're down, you're trailing, you know you can fight, because it's very, very much like a team that you go back to school with. Very much a not summer ball fully orientation.
Grotuz again overcooks it behind Tanner Smith. Just gets a piece of the foot, and it is a hit by pitch to load the bases with 2 outs. 3 straight have reached with 2 away. Missed out on the battle of the Servite High School graduates. Tanner Smith out of Servite High School, graduated in 2018. And then Chris Grotuz, of course, graduating this season. It will bring a visit to the mound here. There's nobody in the Pippins bullpen. Crust Angel is out and will try and calm down Grotus here. In a big spot, he'll face Mason Lee, the second baseman, who's 0 for 3 tonight.
And you go with this visit, just pitcher, catcher, nothing too crazy, just kind of a discussion. As you see, quick little fist bumps, nothing crazy. Lot of faith in your guy in Grotus. Whole lot of faith. A guy who's been with you since pretty much day one of the first series, maybe the second series, if we're being truthful. Second series joining things. There's no one in the bullpen. So he knows, hey, I got faith in you to go out, finish off this inning. You just got to go out and prove me right.
Looking for a big out number 3 in a big spot. Pippins got out of 2 runners, nobody out jam in the second. As the first pitch breaking ball is a strike. It was Daniel Sharon in that second inning. The sack bunt had 2 in scoring position, 1 out, but he got out of trouble, and then Sharon again in the fourth had 2 runners aboard, this time with 2 outs, and got the line out to conclude things. Now it's Grotus' turn. 0-1 off the plate, evens things up. Pippins' bats have been solid throughout the game. Corvallis inching closer, 7-5 the score in a tight-knit game number 1 of this best-of-3 series. Ball 2. Back to Corvallis tomorrow. Pippins will play in game 2 for the opportunity to clinch the series or a play-or-go-home game. Two and one from the lefty. Breaking ball lined out to left. Charging in is Simpson. He makes the catch, and it's out number 3. Nothing more you can do if you're Mason Lee. You barreled it, but Chris Grotus, with the luck of the draw, gets out of things, leaves the bases loaded, and the Pippins still lead 7-5. Time to stretch in Yakima, Washington. The Pippins in front and to the plate when we come back.
Be an energy efficiency hero. Install high-efficiency natural gas equipment, and you can be just like Cascade's most energy-efficient player of the game. Match his ERA of $710. Put some runs on the board by upgrading your furnace, improving your home's insulation, and switching to a condensing tankless water heater. Cascade's bench is deep with both residential and commercial incentives. Check them out at our website or give us a call and be an energy efficiency player of the game.
What's worse than standing in line at concessions? Now you can satisfy your appetite while remaining in your seat. With the mobile app Fan Food, you simply select Express Pickup and order your food. It is that simple. You deserve a VIP experience. Download Fan Food today.
Pippins back to the plate. The lead has been cut to 2, but Yakima Valley still in front. 7-5 the score here in game number 1 of this best-of-3 matchup against the 5-time defending champ, Corvallis Knights. It is Jake Borst to lead things off, the catcher who had the RBI single in his last at-bat, and also had that hot shot comebacker, which should have been a single, but deflected off the glove And this one is sent for a ride, but right at the shifted center fielder at Vincula for out number 1.
Back to what we talked to quite a bit today. The first pitch approach, man, it's fun. And even if you fly out in a spot like that, that shows the pitcher on the other side, I'm not afraid of anything you're going to throw me. I'm going to go after you. Force me not to.
It's another University of Utah product. Brady Malett on the mound, the left-handed freshman out of South Jordan, Utah. Comes home with a fastball to Andrew Walters, and it's strike 1. Lefty pitched in 18 games his freshman season with 2 midweek starts. 12.2 innings, 14 strikeouts with 10 appearances in Pac-12 play. And he pitches in a big spot for Corvallis. Hot shot to Tyler Quinn, and the throw beats Andrew Walters, out number 2. Shane Simpson ups to the plate with 2 up, 2 down. Malett becomes the third pitcher of the ball game. Cam Day got the start. 3 innings, allowing 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 of them earned. No walks or strikeouts. Sean Weiss followed that up, going 3 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. A walk and 3 strikeouts. And now Malett. And he goes 1-2-3. Ground ball to second. Throw beats Shane Simpson. And he quickly ends the 7th inning. New arm retires the side in order. And we head to the 8th. The Pippins lead is 2. They're 6 outs away from a Game 1 victory when we return.
The time is now to get started on your new career at Perry Tech. From AAS degrees in business technology and accounting and IT and communication systems to a fast 5-week professional truck driving program, acquire hands-on skills to help you reach your full potential. From financial aid to career services, the staff at Perry Tech are there to help you from start to finish. Take action today by calling Perry Tech 509-453-0374 or visit perrytech.edu.
It's sky blue, barn red. Caught up in a country, the only way I wanna be. Somewhere where the road ends, out there where the creek bends, that's where you can find me. Within fields of gold and cotton rows that never end in the sky. And take it slow, easy road, man, that's life. Caught up in a country.
What a wild way it was for the Pippins to get into the postseason, and now that they're here, they've been playing pretty well. They lead 7-5 over Corvallis. After jumping out in front early, they've been consistent offensively, but did have their first 1-2-3 inning in the 7th. And it's the 8-9-1 in the order that comes to the plate here in the top of inning number 8. Spencer Scott leads things off against Chris Grotuz, who remains on the mound. 2-0. The count starts as this fastball misses inside to the Portland Pilot out of Portland, Oregon.
Quickly, let's kind of talk about the postseason, especially specifically in the South Division. 2 very different types of series. Portland and Ridgefield, 2 very interesting organizations. They're built very different from how Corvallis and Yakima Valley are, who, in a way, the Pippins and the Knights, kind of historic franchise, you could kind of argue, in this league, with how the Pippins have worked as of late, going to the championship last year, and on the other side, Corvallis, just being Corvallis, doing what they do every year. That other series very well could lead to those 2 beating up on each other, and we talked about possibly who comes out of this very well could look as the favorite in the South Division.
And that is not the ideal start for Chris Grotus. He misses badly on 3 straight pitches, and the last, a hit-by pitch of Spencer Scott. It puts him aboard. And now he misses up and in to Jonah Advincula. And it's 1-0. Action in the bullpen. Some stretching going on right now. Chris Grotus has gotten through 2 innings. He has allowed 2 runs. But a very important 8th. And now that wind has shifted and is blowing in from right center field. There's a strike, make it 1-1.
And while we are just kind of seeing action in the bullpen, Grotus is kind of 1 or 2 bad ABs away from kind of being done tonight. And it wasn't a bad outing from him in any way, shape, or form. Really only 1 bad inning, but it's carrying over. That's where things are getting a little frustrating.
Good breaking ball, and again, that tight zone is called ball 2. Elsewhere around the league, the Wenatchee Apple Sox way out in front of Kamloops, 12-1 in the top of the 8th in British Columbia. On Vancouver Island, Victoria trails the Bellingham Bells 5-2 in the top of the 8th, and Portland's got a tight one with Ridgefield. Level at 5 in the top of the 8th inning in Ridgefield. Inside it hits them, and Grotus has just lost it on the mound.
And they're at the very least, looking down, might see the change come sooner rather than later. But still, the fact that, honestly, you probably should have warmed up an arm a little bit earlier. So we'll see how this goes, if they will make a change here. But going back, the struggle's carried into the next inning. That's where you kind of go after one at bat. You very well could have been like, all right, that's probably where we're ending. That's not necessarily the case. Now you have to wait till someone gets a little hot. You got 2 on. This next at bat, this is the conversation probably here. This next at bat is your last. Make it count, because at this point you're just waiting for that arm to be ready to go. You need to at least wait 1.
Mound visit to calm down Chris Grotus a little bit. That is his 3rd hit-by pitch of the outing so far, and back-to-back to open up this frame puts the tying run aboard. Action continues in the bullpen, but big spot for the recent high school graduate. Takes his deep sigh and steps on the mound, ready to get going. Corvallis awaiting their signs.
Going back, you mentioned incoming, just graduated high school. These are the spots you're going to work in, especially your first couple years at a big Division I program like UCLA. These are the spots you're going to get into. Have to show that you can work in them.
Bunt is shown. The pitch is high. It's ball 1. You could tell Grotus was rattled out of the gate to start this inning. But now it's on the lefty to recompose yourself, which can be so hard to do, especially in a big moment like this.
And even tougher when you're a younger guy. You're coming in a spot against possibly one of the best teams in all of collegiate summer baseball.
1-0, bunt is shown. It's down right in front of the plate. They go for the lead runner and get him at 3rd. That's a huge play from Jake Borst to get the leadoff man out. And the bunt unsuccessful. It's out number 1.
Big props there to Borst. We focus on Grotus on the mound and trying to get him settled down. Well, that's a good way to help him out. A bunt showed it wasn't necessarily a good one, but one that can do damage if you don't play it correctly as a catcher. Did perfectly, get the lead runner out, put one out on the board. Now you can settle down a little bit as a pitcher on the bump.
Big spot for Chris Grotus. His first pitch to Tyler Quinn is a good one in there for a strike. And sometimes it's like basketball. You just need to see one go down.
Absolutely.
And Chris Grotus looking to make that the case. He's facing Quinn, who's 2 for 4. Only at bat against Grotus was his RBI double in the 7th. Double steal is on here, and the good pitch to run on. It breaks up the double play. And it's a ball low and in. So you don't need the bunt. Just take the stolen bases. And that one completely off the pitcher. 65 miles an hour, the curveball in the dirt, and that's can't really pick a better pitch to run on. Two in scoring position, one out. This one is rocked to left field. Shane Simpson spins around. It's over his head, and it will be extra bases. One run scores, relay to the plate. It is in time. Tag is there, and they throw out the tying run. What a relay from left. Shane Simpson couldn't get to that ball, but read it perfectly off the wall, and Corvallis a strike to the plate. Beat the runner by 3 steps.
Beautiful. Shane Simpson, what a throwback in. You need to help out your pitcher in spots like this. He's struggling a little bit. He's banged up. A young kid, tough spot against one of the best teams in the league. Comes in, you have a chance to tie up the ball game. Well, check that. No, you don't with a great throw in. Fantastic work there from the Pippins.
That is a huge play for Yakima Valley. It keeps their lead at 7-6 and now 2 outs. But Corvallis still at the plate, and the tying run still in scoring position at second. First pitch home is off the plate. It's ball 1. And I think either way, this is going to be Grotus' last guy. One of the arms warming up in the bullpen. It looks like a righty. Can't quite get the number. But Grotus trying to get one more out. 1-0 the count. There's another good breaking ball, and that's a tough pitch to lay off of, but not what Briley Knight was looking for. And it's a 2-0 count.
Grotus, you're going to see him go. Working here. And in a spot like this, we talked about short on arms late in the year. It happens, but has to get out. Can't walk another batter in a spot to do that. Have to keep pounding the zone. And as cliche and as simple as it is, just got to throw strikes here. 3-0, have to throw strikes.
Grotus struck out Briley Knight the last time the two faced back in the 7th inning. Behind 3-0 here. Ball 4, it's a walk, and 2 runners aboard with 2 outs, and we'll see if Crust Angel heads out of the dugout once again or if he'll let Grotus face Ramiro.
And this is tough. This is faith in your guy, though. That's truly what it comes down to. We're not seeing any indication to go to the mound, even discuss, maybe make a change. We're seeing nothing of the sorts here, and you're going up against a great hitter in Kiko Romero. 2 on, 2 outs. Faith in your young pitcher.
Grotus' first pitch is off the plate. It's a ball.
It kind of gets tough. You go, is that the best decision? You think about it. Go back, and we talked about all the positives with it. Obviously, a learning moment for Grotus. How long do you try and teach him?
Big spot for the lefty. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss. That's a fantastic pitch and a big chase for the first strike of the at-bat.
And he needed it. In a way, you kind of go into this. You see Romero coming to the plate. 2 runners on, 2 away. Kind of know he's going to play it aggressive. So maybe that's why we're seeing a lot thrown away, because, you know, he's probably going to try and chase.
1-1 the count. Look to second. Grotus the next. Swing and a miss on another breaking ball. And it's 1-2.
Now you're in a spot also. You give him swinging and missing. Swinging and missing to go down in the count. Where do you go now? Haven't seen the fastball breaking out. It hasn't really worked a whole lot for Grotus. But maybe we see. Try and see if he'll chase something low. Maybe go with a break. Something away.
Got an experienced catcher in Borst behind the plate, calling the signs. Here's a 1-2. Breaking ball, hot shot to second. Marinko fields cleanly. His throw in time, and Grotus is out of it. Huge relay, throws out the tying run, but Chris Grotus gets out of it. A firm handshake, and the Pippins still have the lead as we head to the bottom of the 8th. You can be sure the Pippins want some insurance runs as they head to the plate. 9-1-2 due up, 3 outs away from a Game 1 victory.
Be an an energy efficiency hero. Install high-efficiency natural gas equipment, and you can be just like Cascade's most energy-efficient player of the game. Match his ERA of $710. Put some runs on the board by upgrading your furnace, improving your home's insulation, and switching to a condensing tankless water heater. Cascade's bench is deep with both residential and commercial incentives. Check them out at our website or give us a call and be an energy efficiency player of the game.
What's worse than standing in line at concessions? Now you can satisfy your appetite while remaining in your seat. With the mobile app Fan Food, you simply select Express Pickup and order your food. It is that simple. You deserve a VIP experience. Download Fan Food today.
Welcome back. Spencer Marenko starts the bottom of the 8th inning against a flame-throwing lefty on the mound in Brady Malett. Remains on the bump as the third pitcher for Corvallis. He went 1-2-3 in the 7th. Starts behind on Marenko, and the 1-0 is hacked on and tipped. A ball and a strike. Spencer Marenko 2 for 2 today. Doubled in his first at bat, 96 off the bat, and came around to score in the 2nd. Had the sac bunt in the 4th, and then had that deep fly ball out to center field, which kept on carrying with the wind. And it dropped in for another double. Pair of extra base hits to start his postseason play this year. And Marenko was a part of the Pippins in last year's campaign where they went to that championship game. 2-1 the count. Ground ball left side on a hop to Spencer Scott. And his throw's in time. 1 up, 1 down in the bottom of inning number 8.
For the Pippins, offensively, they've been good all day as a whole in this ball game. That's a course of so far through 8 innings. Well, the last 2 haven't really been great. Went down 1-2-3, I believe, in the last inning. Now they come up here, 1 batter up, 1 batter down in quick fashion. You have to put runs on the board here because you're going with a new pitcher in the next inning. You'd like to give him a little bit of help, not make it a 1-run ball game. And more importantly, things out of your control, Corvallis are getting hot. That's the issue. No matter how good of an arm you throw in the next inning, if a team gets hot offensively, feel like the barrel becomes twice as big. They're ready to go every time up, playing with confidence, and that's what Corvallis has kind of done.
Rollator trying to give a spark to the Pippins. Lines this one out towards center, but it's hung up long enough for Advincula in center field to pull down out number 2. And that is 5 straight retired for Brady Malett as he'll face Connor Corvallis.
And also, as dumb as this might sound, because you're playing another game, you can't end the game not on a high note. You have another game tomorrow. You can't end this game on a negative point for either squad. You go out, and even if you lose this game, you need to finish strong because you still have 1, possibly 2 more to go the rest of the way. Sure, if things go south here for Yakima Valley, you're playing Corvallis, who have lost 15 games all year, back at home trying to take 2 out of 3 from them. Yeah, and it's a very tough ask to do, but it's not impossible. And that's the thing. You need to keep as clear of a positive head as possible going into those contests and obviously ending today.
Connor Corvallis has a 1-1 count as Malett remains on the mound in his 12th appearance with Corvallis this summer. 15.1 innings, a 2-0 record, a save, and a 5.28 ERA. Has allowed 1 hit in his last 4 innings. And he misses low, so the count in favor of Connor Corvallis. Heart of the order coming up here, too. If Corvallis can reach, you never know. A bloop and a blast is the mentality with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. It will be the 5, 6, 7 in the order to come up in the 9th. And it's Isaac Yeager that was warming up in the pen, and by all indications, it will be him to pitch the 9th. Two balls and 2 strikes to Connor Corvallis. Weekly hit chopper out towards third. Could be trouble, and wise play at third by Tyler Quinn. He lets it go. Looked like he wanted to barehand it. That would not have been the play. Corvallis would have beat that one pretty easily. And the foul ball gets by him, so the count to 2-2.
That's a good job as a third baseman to kind of just change your stance at the last second. Realize, keep eye contact with that runner going to first, and make a decision at the very last second whether you're going to haul things in or not. One that, regardless, barehand snag down the line, not easy to make, but one he was in a good spot to do so if he had faith that he could make the throw over. Wisely doesn't, stays away. Good job there.
10 hits over the last 4 games for Connor Corvallis. He's got 2 tonight, 2 runs and an RBI. 2-2 is the count. Ground ball to short. Spencer Scott boots it, and Corvallis is safe. Third error of the game for Corvallis, and it extends this bottom of the 8th. And a lot of times those errors come back to bite you.
Right there, that one kind of hurts more than the other 2. A team that won't beat themselves is Corvallis. Today, in a way, doing so. Like you said, third error of the game. That one hurts the most because it very well should have ended the inning.
And now it's Jackson Reed. He's got 3 home runs on the season, including 1 in his last series against Kelowna, which was an absolute mash. Bat flipped and all. Finished that game with 6 RBIs, and he leads the team in batting average. And will now face this lefty out of the University of Utah. 1-0 the count. Swing and a miss. Reed just misses, and it's 1-1. As a team, Corvallis this summer has been one of the more disciplined teams. They are 3rd in lowest errors on the year. 60 total errors for Corvallis this season. The Pippins with 93 entering today. Back pick to first base, and Corvallis back in on the dive with the left-handed hitter, Tanner Smith, trying to sneak one. And Corvallis back in. 2-1 is the count. Jackson Reed awaits the next. Ground ball foul. It's 2-2. Reed is 1 for 4 today. He's got 2 flyouts in his first 2 at-bats. The single stolen base and a run in the 5th on the single 95 miles an hour exit velo. Popped up to short on that sliding play in foul territory in the 6th inning. And back up to the plate for the 5th time right here. Big spot, 2-2 the count, 2 away. And Corvallis, the insurance run on first base. Just tipped by Reed, enough to stay alive on the defensive hack.
And we've mentioned all night long, fighting at the plate. See more of that here. A lot of times you'll be rewarded for stuff like this. So this is really good. Continuing this at bat, 2 away.
Pickoff keeps an eye on the runner. And on top of that, with Reed at the plate, Sorensen is in the on-deck circle. He is 3 for 4 today, 2 RBIs, a run and a stolen base. Both guys can make things happen in a hurry. Corvallis with great IQ on the base paths. Takes his lead, 2-2. Breaking ball is pulled out to right field, hangs up in the air, and is caught by Logan Johnstone. We head to the 9th. 1-run ball game. Pippins 3 outs away from a Game 1 victory. It is Isaac Yeager, the freshman at the University of Washington, that gets ready to pitch.
The time is now to get started on your new career at Perry Tech. From AAS degrees in business technology and accounting and IT and communication systems to a fast 5-week professional truck driving program, acquire hands-on skills to help you reach your full potential. From financial aid to career services, the staff at Perry Tech are there to help you from start to finish. Take action today by calling Perry Tech 509-453-0374 or visit perrytech.edu.
It's sky blue, barn red. Caught up in a country, the only way I wanna be. Somewhere where the road ends, out there where the creek bends, that's where you can find me. Within fields of gold and cotton rows that never end in the sky. That take it slow, easy road, man, it's life. Caught up in a country.
Buckle in and get ready. 9th inning. Playoff baseball in the West Coast League. Isaac Yeager, Ryan Safford. First pitch, fastball just out, 1-0. After Chris Grotus, the incoming freshman at UCLA, goes 3 innings and does enough to bridge the gap with a lead. It's another incoming freshman, this time Isaac Yeager, incoming to the University of Washington. Ground ball up the middle. Corvallis on the move. Fields fires. In time, out number 1. Sorensen keeps his foot on the bag, and Corvallis another play up the middle, and 1 down.
Talked about the accomplishments defensively for Corvallis all day long. Well, that's why. Plays like that look like their routine just because of who's making them. It's a way to put the first out on the board. Top of the 9th inning, you turn to your main guys right there, able to make the call.
Isaac Yeager, a promising young pitcher, the number 3 right-handed arm out of the state of Washington this year. Number 5 overall from Bishop Blanchette and Seattle, Washington. He's got a lot of velo on the mound, standing 6'6", and he brings home a 1-0. Fouled back, 1 ball and 1 strike. Tanner Smith at the plate, 0 for 1 in his 4 plate appearances. Has been hit by 2 pitches, laid down a sac bunt, which was moot in the second as neither run scored, and then popped up to short in the 6th inning. That's a good slider, but it cuts out of the zone, 2-1.
You mentioned Yeager out of Bishop Blanchette in Seattle. Have a lot of experience. The catcher with Walla Kevin Spear, Yeager's catcher at Blanchette. A program that, as a whole, you can kind of just tell on the mound. A lot of these kids don't look like they're just graduating high school. They look like they are ready to go in, compete for a starting role, compete for a main job at these universities. Yeager to UW, and you're seeing it right now, putting him in the 9th.
3-1. It misses outside, and it's ball 4 to Tanner Smith. It brings up Mason Lee to the plate. 3rd time Smith has reached on 2 hit-by pitches and a walk. And now the freshman out of the stretch, a pinch runner into the game. It's number 16 on first base, Ethan Lovelace out of Olympia, Washington.
Very well. You'll see Lovelace tomorrow as well. We're probably going to get a chance to start tomorrow. A guy who's been pretty heavily used in the lineup, especially near the later half of the year. A guy who could go, and obviously good amount of speed with him as well on the base pads.
Jake Borst has had a great arm this year. He's got tons of caught stealings. Ethan Lovelace, 14 stolen bases this season, and where does that pitch miss? Ball 1. Good fastball, just a hair outside. And this time it's the righty that does not get the call. 1-0 is the count on Mason Lee. He's got 2 lineouts, a fly out to center, and a pop-up on the day, and he fouls away the fastball 1-1. Yeager has had 14 appearances this season with the Pippins, a 4-2 record, 40 innings of work, and he has been confident throughout. Earned the win in each of his last 2 outings, including 4 scoreless against Kelowna when the Pips needed it the most in that 12-6 victory. There's a strike, 1-2.
And even though an incoming to UW, you just look at those innings pitch mark, over 40 on the year. That's what will be taken to the next level. Whether it goes in, plays a whole lot, that type of experience in summer ball is huge.
1-2, another off speed. This one too far in, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes from Yeager with Lovelace still on first, and he's getting some signs. 2 strikes, you never know. Stolen base could be on, hit and run maybe if they're getting risky. Top of the 9th, 1 out, 2-2. Swing and a ground ball is foul.
Yeah, with 1 away, don't know if you're taking out any of those options. 1 away, very well a good chance to try and do some hit and run. Even if you do have 2 strikes, what's the worst that's going to happen? If you hit into a double play, well, see you tomorrow.
2-2 the count, 1 out. Big pitch for Isaac Yeager. The righty comes home. Fouled away.
And that's what we're going to see. Going to see if we can see Lovelace move at first. Keep the swings on. You got 2 strikes. Have to fight anyway.
This is a big spot for Isaac Yeager, an opportunity to showcase to the University of Washington he can be in these tough moments in his freshman year with the program. 2-2, here it comes. Ground ball fouled away once again, and the battle continues. Yeager not giving in, continuing to pound the zone. Meanwhile, Mason Lee staying alive at the plate. The Culver City native out of California State Northridge. 2 balls, 2 strikes again. The at-bat continues. Here it comes. Swing and tipped. Held onto behind the plate. Borscht with a strikeout. Pippins are 1 out away.
Huge at-bat there from Yeager. Great work on the mound. And a whole lot today we've discussed young guys being unexperienced. That is a pitch. That is an at-bat where you go and say, this guy can go make an immediate impact. We talked about coming out of Bishop Blanchett. That does not look like a guy fresh out of high school. That's what we're talking about. The confidence, the swagger, the mojo, all that stuff, and the ability to throw a pitch upstairs, get a swing and a miss. Love to see it. Now 2 outs, and all to put the bow tightened up. Top of the 9th inning, a chance to win the ball game.
39th strikeout of the year for Isaac Yeager, and in a big spot, biggest that he's been in this season. Starts behind on Spencer Scott, the shortstop. Two outs, 7-6 the score. Lovelace, the runner on first, and Spencer Scott at the plate is 1 for 3 with his double and run in the 5th. 1-0 the count. There's a strike.
And all day we've seen pitchers for Yakima Valley throw a lot of breaking stuff, a lot of off speed. The fastball not really hovering higher than 85. These pitchers are coming in quick.
You can cut the tension with a knife at the ballpark. 1-1 the count. Yeager pulled down the line. It's foul. And inches away from extra bases. Instead, it's strike 2.
For you, Zach, you're always in a spot like this up in the booth with Yakima Valley, especially the past couple of weeks. This one, a bigger spot, and you're kind of on the opposite side of things, holding on to the lead, not coming back. There's been a lot of comebacks for the Pippins today, trying to hold on, and now, thanks to that.
What a game it's been.
Absolutely.
For a team that's had the underdog mentality. Just getting into the postseason. Now a chance to win game 1. Foul ball. Snuck in on the last day. They needed everything to be perfect down the stretch, and it was. Bend losing their final game as Cowlitz coming back with a 7 unanswered spot in that late inning ball game. An 8-7 victory for the Black Bears. The Pippins did their job after coming back from a number of deficits earlier. Now a chance to knock off Corvallis in game 1. 1-2. Pull down the line. Foul. Again, an opportunity for Corvallis, but just out in front is Spencer Scott.
I can promise you, this at-bat is probably not close to being over. This one's going to go on for a while. We talked about the plate discipline for Corvallis. Everyone on their squad can do this. Keep going in counts. Whether you're down 1-2, whether it's a full count, they're going to battle. They're going to keep things going.
It was an 8-pitch at bat for Mason Lee on the strikeout. 1-2 home. Ground ball towards third. Walters cuts it off, goes to second. Play is made. Out number 3. Yeager the save, and Pippins the win. What an effort for Yakima Valley. They knock off the 5-time defending champs in game 1 and have the chance to move to round number 2 with a win in Corvallis tomorrow. What an absolutely gutsy effort from this staffed, short roster, limited players. Daniel Sharon, 5 innings out of the gate, exits, giving his team the lead. Chris Grotus, an incoming freshman, 18 years old, and the kid goes 3 innings and exits with a Pippins lead. Isaac Yeager gets the tying run aboard, but gets out of things by shutting down this experienced and potent Corvallis offense. What an unbelievable win for the Pippins, 7-6. It's gritty, it's a W, and the Pippins that much closer to a West Coast League championship. What a game.
It's exactly what the Pippins needed. Needed to keep momentum going, and whether win or lose, you knew Yakima Valley was going to bring in a fight. That's what they did, and they win the fight today. That's what you needed. That's what you need. Bring the momentum from the end of the year and, in a way, kind of prove to the rest of the league, we're here. We deserve to be here. The end of the schedule, you go look against teams that you could argue, not great. Series against mainly North Division foes and not having to play the top team in Corvallis in the second half. Not having to play Portland again at Walker Stadium. A lot of these series, you could go back and look at the end of the year and say, well, I don't know, maybe they just kind of snuck in, luck of the draw, all that good stuff. No. They take down Corvallis here tonight, and now you go into Goss tomorrow, the chance to move on. And if you could sweep the 5-time consecutive West Coast League champions, you are easily the favorite going forward. And after tonight, if this same team shows up to Corvallis tomorrow, you're very well looking at a Pippins second round berth after tomorrow's contest.
What a win, a statement win at that. The Pippins take it 7-6 over Corvallis, picking up their 30th win of the season. And I don't know if anybody would be considered sane if they thought this was going to be the outcome of the season after the first half the Pippins had. What an unbelievable effort from the number 4 seed in the South Division to take game 1 over Corvallis, 7-6. Daniel Sharon gets the win, Chris Grotus gets the hold, and Isaac Yeager gets the save, and the Pippins take the victory. Thanks for everybody for tuning in today. Back on the road to Goss Stadium tomorrow. You can catch me on Mixlr.com/PippinsBaseball or watch the Corvallis TV stream. Thanks everybody that tuned in. And game number 2 tomorrow, Pippins going for the win. For everyone involved in our production team, thank you. For Gary Early, I'm Zach McKinstry, and we will see you next time. Pippins, take care.